Now, you might think you're quite good at stain busting or pretty handy with a hoover, but I bet you've got nothing on our next guest.
Oh, no. Blood, brains and biohazards are all in a day's work for Lauren Baker, who is now taking us behind the scenes of her unique profession in a new documentary series, Crime Scene Cleaners.
Ooh,
The maggots.
The maggots turned me a little bit. An extreme cleaner, Lauren Baker, joins us now. God, you do look absolutely so glamorous, I've got to say.
Thank you.
I mean, the maggots, what was that in?
That was in America, I believe. That wasn't one of our ones. That was in America.
So tell me a little bit about your job. Give us, like, a rough outline of a job description.
Dirt and grime. Dirt, grime, filth, anything, that can cause harm to the human body is what we do.
In all capacities?
Yes, yeah. So that could be where someone's bowels have exploded, to an unattended death where they've then passed. It could be needle sweeps, it could be hoarded properties, it could be mental health crisis cleaning, it could literally be anything.
Can we just go back? Did you say bowels had exploded?
Yeah. Yeah, so when you pass, your organs start to shut down. So sometimes when we attend properties and we attend unattended deaths, their bowels have erupted before they've actually passed, and then they've made their way to a place where, or they've tried to make their way to a place where they're going to be comfortable. And then, then you've got the clean up from that as
hence
well.
the
Wow.
hazmat suit, hence the masks, hence all of this sort of stuff. We're not just making you... This is actually what you have to wear, because that could be really, really bad for you guys if any of those bodily fluids or any of that matter sort of gets into your bloodstream. Yeah,
absolutely, we have to make sure that we're fully equipped. Double-gloved mask, like respiratory masks, so we can actually breathe, and our goggles, and, we just brought these in as well, so they go right the way up your arm. So it's quite, it's quite tense.
How on earth do you start in this world, Lauren?
Good question.
I done a really, really dirty property when I was just doing domestic cleaning, and I just wanted to help people. That was my sole thing. I wanted to help, and I knew that I could make a difference through cleaning.
Because that person, I think that person had sort of a dementia.
Yeah.
And clearly no one had been in the property world and no one was there to look after them.
Yeah, so they had carers, but unfortunately they got to a point where, with their condition, that they just didn't want the carers in there anymore. Right. And then the home just deteriorated, and then, that's where we stepped in. And that's when I soon realised that there is actually other people out there suffering like this, and then obviously hoarders then come about, and hoarding is a thing, and that can come in many shapes and sizes. So it is quite tense, it is, but I just wanted to help people.
But you've also been into, like, crime scenes as well and cleaned up after crimes.
Well, we do, like, unattended deaths, so that could be anything from a crime scene to someone just falling and passing at home.
Right.
Or it could be where there's been an assault or something like that has happened, and then we're the team to go in and clean that up afterwards.
And, Lauren, do you go in there and kind of try and guess what happened as well? Because obviously you've got...
CSI.
Yeah, you would. Yeah. Like, my brain would start going, OK, well, that's there and that's over there. What happened when? Yeah,
so we do sometimes, like, obviously, I think that's just natural instinct, isn't it? Like, anyone would sort of walk in and be like, oh, my God, how did that get there? And how did that get there? And you do sort of... Yeah, I suppose you like to think you're a little bit of a... Detective, but obviously we're not. We're just cleaners.
Miss Marple with the gas mask.
Yeah.
You went to one hotel room that had... Essentially, you're walking in, it is like a scene from a film. There's blood all over the place.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realise that these things do actually happen, like, on a day-to-day basis. We did attend a hotel room once, and we was just told that there was a couple in there that some arguments had broke out. And, it was... There was blood everywhere.
Wow.
I wonder, because it's one thing us talking about it and being sort of very stepped back from it, removed from it. But for you to actually go in there and do it and deal with these things on a daily basis, does it ever get quite tough for you, understanding that this is happening?
It can do. Your unattended deaths and suicides, more so than anything, they can be quite difficult. They can be quite tough ones to deal with.
How do you process it?
You become sort of not immune, but you do sort of just... It's a job at the end of the day, and somebody has to do it. Yeah. Like, somebody's got to do that job.
You take great pride in it as well, don't you?
I do. I absolutely love my job, and I wouldn't choose to do anything else now that I'm in this line of work. Like, I wouldn't sit there and think, oh, I'm going to go back to fully employed and go and work back in a pub or anything like that. I couldn't. I really enjoy what I do, and I meet so many different people, and I help so many different people on a weekly basis, and that for me is everything. I love helping people.
Yeah, because you're so respectful in the dock as well. Like, you do a thing where you open all the windows.
Oh, I've got to open the windows. You've got to open the windows.
Like,
You've got to let them be free,
let
them go. Like, you don't trap them in there because they passed in there. They didn't obviously want to pass in there.
Yeah.
So you've got to let them go. Like, undo the windows and let them be free. And I do walk in. I do have a little chat with them.
You're quite spiritual about that sort of thing. You believe that they're there?
Yeah, I believe in... Yeah, I don't believe that you pass and that's it, you're gone. Like, your spirit leaves you and you've got to release them, open the window. So I sort of walk in, I go, oh, hello, love, you all right? Like, if it's an old girl or if we've had, like, a gentleman or whatever, I'm like, oh, hello, mate, you all right? Like, you can go and be free now. And I open the windows and, yeah. I mean, my team sort of look at me and they're like, are you sure?
No, I get it. But can you tell when somebody has died? Do you actually get that information? Or is there something about the room, like, can you tell when somebody's died?
Not always.
Right.
Not always, because sometimes, like, we've been called to clean-ups where there isn't that much clean-up. You may have, like, a tiny little bit of blood.
Yeah.
And you haven't got that much clean-up. But obviously you've still got to carry out your same process as what you would do if you had, like, an extreme clean-up. And sometimes they do let us know, like, sort of how they passed or what's happened, but sometimes we get very minimal detail.
What's the hardest thing, do you think, Lauren? What never leaves you?
Suicides.
Yeah.
Suicides, because a lot of the time, like, people calculate their suicides, and we've been in some before where we found notes and we found, like, envelopes where they've actually left it and they've said, this is to go to this person, this is to this person.
And you've come across that?
We're the ones that find it first, and then we have to go back to the family and say, this is what we've come across.
It's a huge responsibility, isn't it?
It is, it is.
We underestimate that, I think.
Yeah.
And those are the things that people don't actually realise. So when a loved one or a relative or whatever has passed away, it is difficult because people don't know that cleaners like us exist. So they end up having to deal with that trauma by themselves, whereas hopefully with this documentary we can get the word out there and we can say, listen, you are in safe hands. There are
share
people,
that burden for them.
Yeah, we can take that element away from it for you and we can help you. So that's sort of, yeah.
You also find some weird and wonderful things sometimes as well, don't you? Didn't you find a cat in the freezer?
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit much.
Why was the cat in the freezer?
Because they couldn't let it go. They couldn't let it go.
The cat had died?
The cat had died.
Yeah.
The cat was dead.
Yeah. And there was somebody who was a hoarder, I think.
Yes.
The cat had died and they didn't want to let the cat go, so they put the cat in the freezer.
Would you put me in the freezer?
I'll keep you close at all times.
Excellent.
I won't let you go either.
But yeah, that was more of it. They didn't want to let it go. They just couldn't part with it. But I did sort of have to step in and say, this is not hygienic. You can't have this in there with your food in there as well. We need to... Can we go and bury it in the garden?
Yes, have a little ceremony.
Yeah, let's have a ceremony. And we very much did have a bit of a ceremony, and I was like, come on, we can do this. Like, let's do it together.
It's like a counselling service as well,
really
Lauren. It's
is,
amazing,
isn't it?
absolutely amazing. It's been lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Time to talk to our next guest now, but it's not the first time they've been on This Morning.
Yeah, 24 years ago, in 2001, Sarah Mayer appeared on this show as a newborn baby when police were desperately trying to find her birth parents after finding her in an abandoned car park.
This little sprog here was abandoned in a multi-storey car park. She was barely an hour old. She was discovered inside a hold-all by the car park manager. And actually, I'd just add to Mum, if you are watching, she's very, very healthy. She's a good weight. She's a healthy girl. There's nothing wrong with her. And as you can see, she's absolutely beautiful.
She is gorgeous.
So you needn't worry about her that way.
Well, sadly, that nationwide search back in 2001 wasn't successful. But now, 24 years later, Sarah has reignited the hunt for her birth parents with the help of ITV's Long Lost Family team.
Sarah's here now alongside social worker and Long Lost Family's lead searcher, Ariel Bruce. Good morning. Welcome back, I should really say, Sarah. How was it watching that clip?
It was crazy seeing it again.
Yeah.
Like, being back here is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, all those years ago, like, being back is insane. Like, it's like a full circle because I've been able to find, like, my birth parents. And from back then, it was an appeal, like, of who were they? And now it's a full circle of we found them. So, like, it is just crazy.
Of course, growing to a certain point, you're completely oblivious of how you've come into the world. You are just existing. You're just being looked after wonderfully, of course, by your adoptive family. When did you first become aware of the circumstance to which you had arrived and came on the show and everything about your birth?
I've always known. Like, my parents have always kept me informed with everything. Like, they've always done it, like, absolutely perfectly, I would say. Like, they've always done it the right way. Like, they've always, like, told me how, like the way which, like, my backstory was. Like, they've shown me the clips, they've shown me the newspapers, they've shown me everything. So, like, I've always had that as my identity. Like, I've always had my identity as, like, my history. So I've never not known, like, and that's the way it should be.
And did you always have a million questions, and were your foster mum and dad really good at kind of answering those as best they could and keeping mementos of your time when you were found as well?
Yeah, definitely. Like, they were, like, excellent at it. Like, any questions I had, they answered. Like, I've got a whole box of everything. So, like, I've got a box of all the pictures. I've got a box of, like, it's an evidence box of police stuff. Like, it is that. But, like, it's mine all the same, and it is my story. And, like, I love it. Like, it is mine. And, like, I'm very proud of that, and I'm very proud to say that is mine. But, like, they answered any question I had. They answered it to the best of their abilities. And, like, I love them for that. So, like,
brilliantly handled.
So what made you want to then find out a bit more and maybe contact your birth parents and reach out to the Long Lost Family team?
Yeah, like, I wanted, obviously, some answers. Like, obviously, I wanted to just find out what is out there. But also, I wanted to see and wanted to show who is out there that, like, I had a good life. And I wanted to show them that, you know, I understand that whoever is out there would also have a question of where am I now? Like, because anybody out there would obviously have that question of, like, where am I? Like, what am I doing now? And I wanted to show them that this is what I'm doing now, and I am okay, because, like, that is inevitably going to be a question they're going to have. And I wanted to show them that I am okay. And, you know, I wanted to give them that reassurance, because, like, you know, it's fine for them to, you know, put it to bed that I am fine, because I'm at peace with it. And, like, I understand that even if they didn't want to meet me, that's okay, because I'm okay. So that's just what I wanted to show them. So, yeah.
There was a lovely moment, actually, in the doc where you talked to Wendy, who was the police officer who kind of came on the show with you here, actually. There was such a lovely connection between the two of you, and you talked about the letter that your birth mother, we think it was your birth mother, sent.
Yeah.
What was that? What did you say in the letter?
In the letter, my birth mother was thanking everybody for looking after me. Yeah. And again, like, the amount of work that everybody put into my care at the start was immense. Like, and the amount of gratitude I have for them is immense, because they stepped up to be my family at the beginning. Like, and they don't get enough gratitude. Like, nobody does. Like, when abandoned babies get looked after at the beginning, those people don't get enough gratitude. They don't, because, you know, nobody thanks them. No. Like, they get a bit of thanks, but they don't get enough thanks. And they should get a massive thanks, because they are the start of the family for them, those people. Because for me, Wendy was the start of my family. So
really,
it was
it's really,
so lovely,
really
the
telling.
connection.
Ariel, it's such an extraordinary role that you play, and the whole of the Long Lost Families team, in helping Sarah and other people like her. But when we've got these cases in Born Without a Trace, and there's so little to start with, how do you begin a search to try and track down her family?
Well, I guess, you know, Sarah trusted us with her search, and that's the beginning for us. It's so important that there's that trust, and I'm very grateful, feel privileged to do this sort of work. But essentially what we do is we put Sarah's DNA across all of the genealogical sites that are available. There's probably 4 major ones, and we're looking for, and of course, on those sites, there's about 20 million people in all across the world, mostly in the English-speaking world. That's a big generalisation, but nonetheless, who have put their DNA on. And we then use a combination of the connections that we see through DNA to Sarah combined with conventional genealogy. And it's a sort of building up of a forensic narrative. So that's something that actually Sarah will understand because she's a forensic, I mean, she comes from a science background herself. So that's been interesting in itself. So that's the essence of it. So we put Sarah's DNA across all the sites and then start work with that. It's a mixture of science, good luck, and sort of detective work of some sort.
It must be extraordinary, though, when you get a breakthrough and you suddenly go, I think we found them, which, of course, you did in this case.
Yes, it's marvellous, but on one level, it's only the beginning of the story, because when you find people and start to have to think about making approaches, you know now you're in extraordinary territory, whether it is a parent who didn't know that he had a child, or whether it's a parent who is going to be very frightened at being found. And often a woman who leaves a child is a very distressed woman. She's in traumatic circumstances. When we then make an approach to her, we reignite that moment. So, you know, it's not just a moment where we say, oh, that's fantastic. Yeah. We actually say, it's fantastic. Oh, my gosh, what now? And for Sarah, finding and having contact with family members is actually not an end. It is the beginning of a very long, lifelong journey.
It's a huge amount of responsibility, isn't it?
Yes.
Yes, very much so. And you actually found and went to go and meet your biological dad, who didn't know anything about you, essentially.
Yes, no, like, it was insane meeting him. Like, and the fact that me and him are so alike is just insane. Like...
So he didn't even know that you existed?
Yes, like, he didn't know anything. Like, so... for him to welcome me into his family, like, the way he did, was just, like, insane of him. Like...
But wasn't there some weird connection as well, where his mum worked in the hospital where you were brought to as a baby as well?
Yeah, so when I was initially brought in to the hospital. So there's a chance that she would have met me, so...
You got some answers about your birth mother as well, and I think you've said, look, you understand it's complicated, but the door's always open. You'd be happy to meet her at some point in the future?
Of course, yeah, like, the door is always open and it will always be open. Like, I understand I've had 24 years of being able to process, like, my whole story, basically, and everything about it. So that's enough time for me to process it, and she's had just this short amount of time to process it. So it's going to be a long time for her to process it. I understand that. And I will give her that time. Like, that is completely understandable. It's a complex thing. And I understand, like, life is complex. So I will give her that time. And the door will always be open. Like, I'm not going to close that door. So, yeah.
It's amazing. It's wonderful to have you back on the sofa.
Yeah.
All these years after you first appeared as that tiny little baby look in Judy's arms. Just amazing. As ever, Richard cooing over you.
Yeah. There's Wendy.
There's Wendy. And we've actually got a little message as well for you, Sarah. Where do you want to say that? Over there. If you look over there, it's quite far away, obviously, but have a look. Here's a little message for you.
Hi, Sarah. Well, what an end to an incredible story. I just can't believe it's almost a quarter of a century since you were with us, just a little babe in arms, on the This Morning sofa. And we were so genuinely passionate about trying to find your family for you. And after all these years, it's just brilliant news to hear that you have, and you've met your dad as well. It's just a great end to an amazing story. So huge congratulations from Judy and from me. And what can I say except have a great rest of your life. Lots of love.
There you go. How it all started for us.
Yes.
And it's lovely to have you back. And Ariel, thank you so much as well for coming in too. Really, really special to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Long Lost Family, Born Without a Trace continues this Wednesday at 9 p.m. on ITV1 and ITVX.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
This blows my mind.
Yeah.
The idea of deliberately showing yourself up in public is probably the last thing most of us would ever want to do.
Apart from us every Friday. But it's actually the thinking behind something called rejection therapy, which is a technique that encourages people to put themselves in awkward situations to combat their own fear of rejection.
And for our next guest, Sophie Jones, it seems to be working.
And Sophie's here now. Hello, you.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us.
You are so
Thank
brave.
you. It's honestly crazy.
Doing this stuff.
It's crazy. I honestly, if younger me could see the confidence I have now, she'd be so shocked. I wouldn't even say boo to a goose, and now look at me.
So let's talk about young you. Where did this all come from?
Well, I've always had a fear of rejection, which I didn't know, and it wasn't until maybe about a year ago I had like my first big girl corporate job, and I was just terrified to put my ideas forward. I went through a really horrible breakup and I was scared to date again, and I just cared what people thought of me. And then I saw this concept of rejection therapy and it terrified me. And I just thought, imagine if I do this rejection therapy, where could this new confidence take me? So,
and look where it has taken you. You're now sitting on this morning sofa because, I mean, you've got over 400,000 people watching you on TikTok, on Instagram. People are obsessed. What do you think people resonate with this? What do you think it helps people?
I think it resonates with so many people because we are all guilty of holding ourselves back because of that little voice we have in our head. The one that says, don't do that, you'll look stupid, they'll judge you, what if this, what if that? And we just care so much what people think of us, and rightfully so, we're human. So I think it resonates with people because it's just such a unique concept. Like, who is actively pushing themselves out of the comfort zone? Not very many people, but it's changed my life, and I hope I can advocate to change other people's.
What's the first time you did it? Like in a context like that, where you were just like in front of people and they're all going, why is that girl doing that? So what was the first one? Do you remember?
The first one was with my sister. I just asked her if she'd want to borrow my hairbrush because I hated just hearing the word no. I thought it was such an attack of my character and my worth.
Aww.
I know, it's really sad. So I literally started the challenge just with my friends and family, and I really took it slow. And then the first one I did on TikTok was I went and watched an amateur theatre production, and I was sat there watching it, and at the end I asked if I could sing with the band. And it felt so scary just to ask to sing with a band, but now looking back, that seems dead easy.
So hold on, does some people actually say, yes, you can go and sing with the band? And are you happy about that, or do you kind of want to have that rejection?
Well, this is the thing. The amount of crazy opportunities I've had, because I'm asking a question expecting to get a no, and they've said yes. So I've gone into a pizza shop and said, can I have a go making the pizza myself? He said, yeah. I've gone into an ice cream van and he said I can make my own ice cream. I've done rock, paper, scissors with strangers, asked to try the shoes on, and said, yeah. My mind is blown. People don't like to reject you, and it's made me actually form a nicer relationship with how I view strangers, and people are really nice.
And it's a weird thing, absolutely couldn't agree more, right? Kindness to strangers is one of the most important things in the world. And it's always so unexpected as well. But it's a fine line, isn't it, between you don't want to annoy anyone and get in their face, and people might be how you were, which is not particularly confident and don't necessarily want the camera in their face, with putting yourself out there and hopefully making someone's day better. So and you seem to be able to walk that line pretty well.
Yeah.
So how do you do it? Is it just intuitive, do you think?
Yeah, so I always go off like my own moral compass. I'd never do anything that's rude, disrespectful.
So important, those words, aren't they? Your own moral compass.
I would never do anything illegal. I always just think if there's no risk to it, so it's a bit of harmless fun, you know, going and asking for a discount or
wearing a wedding dress in Tesco.
Wearing a wedding dress, my mum's wedding dress in Tesco. It's harmless fun, and the thing is, I'm anxious beforehand, thinking people are going to judge me, what if I annoy anyone? But the feedback I tend to have is like, you've just made my day.
Yeah.
If we're just not afraid to just live a little
Also, some
more.
people just don't want to laugh on camera, so it's a very difficult thing for you to kind of gauge. But do you think, is it called a vibe check you do? You work out if the vibe's going to be good or not?
Yeah, so I always use my discernment when approaching strangers. I'd say to anyone who's thinking of doing rejection therapy, just do it in a public space. Don't go up to anyone who you think may be of risk to you, and just use your discernment. But it can just be as easy as striking up a conversation at the bus stop with a stranger. I asked these two random girls if they wanted to go for a coffee with me, expecting a no. They said yeah. And then we had a fun time.
And you had a lovely afternoon.
How would you be about it? Because I think if someone I talk to, like, literally, you know, we're both like, we talk to everyone, right? But if someone's filming me, I think maybe I'd be a little bit more guarded about it.
I mean, are there videos where they don't make it online purely for that reason, or the reaction wasn't the reaction that you got and you thought, you know what, I'm not going to post that?
Yeah, there's been a couple. I went into a hairdresser's once and asked if I could blow someone's hair, blow dry the hair, and the reaction was a little bit funny, and I thought, I'm not going to post that for the moral reasons. But overall, the responses I get are really positive and quite fun, and even if I do get a blunt no, it just helps build your resilience.
And you ask them if they can post it afterwards, kind of thing?
No, so I don't show anyone's faces. I'll just record, like, the conversation
okay.
And then post it.
How has this changed your life? Because I know you're now earning money from this on TikTok. How has this changed your life?
In so many ways. The biggest way is just my confidence within myself is so much better. I see the world as such like a playground. Like, we're here to live, and I just don't take things so seriously. I can advocate for myself. Like, I honestly used to care so much what people thought of me. Even, like, on my first day of high school, I'd turn up with a full face of makeup. So just having that freedom has changed my life.
What's interesting is what you said at the start of the interview, which is, like, you still care about what people think of you, which I think is a good thing, because that means that's empathy, right?
Exactly.
So you're not saying people just shouldn't care what everyone thinks of them all the time, but this has obviously freed you in so many ways.
Yeah, I encourage people just to ask the questions a bit more, because obviously you're always going to care what people think of you. It's a natural human thing. But I think sometimes we care too much, you know, getting up on the dance floor because we're going to be judged. Get up on the dance floor.
Isn't it? Right, Sophie, you're on telly now. You're on This Morning. Is there anything you'd love to do?
I would love to read the little TV notes.
We'll read the next one, Sophie.
Whoa.
No, let her have a go. Sophie, it's lovely meeting you.
Yeah,
Can
thanks,
you do the
Sophie.
link to Jeff for us?
Absolutely.
Go for it.
It's competition time now, and we're giving you the chance to become a $250,000. Plus, for this week only, you could also be with our own bonus camper van. Jeff's in the studio to tell us more.
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
First, though, it is every parent's worst nightmare. In 2017, Colin and Mandy Mackey's world changed forever when their 18-year-old son, Greg, died in his university halls in Edinburgh.
A toxicology report concluded he had the equivalent of 5 ecstasy tablets, but no trace of alcohol in his system. Colin and Mandy insist that their son was spiked, but to this day, nobody has been held responsible.
So as the government considers changes to how spiking is dealt with in law, Colin and Mandy join us to share their story and their fight for change. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
Thank you for coming in. I'm so sorry for your loss. Greg sounds like an extraordinary young man. Mandy, tell us a little bit about him. What were his hopes and dreams? What was his expectation for life?
He loved life, really enjoyed life. He was a people person. He worked hard, he studied hard, he got into the university where he was going to do TV and media. And he literally had his life scoped out for himself. He had a place where, when he finished university, he was going on to Australia. He'd had a place in Australia, so his future was actually good, and he was so positive. It was positive about everything. Very positive person.
You say his future was good, he was a super positive person, but all that was taken away from him. What happened that night?
Well, we got a call at 6 o'clock in the morning, and it was 2 police officers that called us, come knocking on the door, and they just come in and said, your son's died from a drugs overdose. No. You know, Greg had nothing to do with drugs. Greg has never had anything to do with drugs.
And he wasn't a big drinker either.
No.
He wasn't really massively into partying at all.
No, he was a very cautious person. He'd already done some filming on depression, and he was actually, at the time, he was doing studies and putting a program together on drugs. So he was aware of everything. You know, he would never take his eye off the ball. So for them to say that it was a drugs overdose, plus he was into his sports, he was into speedway, he was into boxing, he was into fitness. It was something that never actually was part of our life.
No.
You know, it never entered our life. So for someone to come and tell me something like that, you know, it's, no, you've got this wrong.
Right.
You know, there's no way. There's no way.
And Colin, so when you responded like that to the police, understandably, and you say, look, we know our son, we know exactly who he is, we know this isn't a possibility, what did they say to you?
Not very much, to be honest. They were very slow to react. Basically, on the day they came and said what happened to Greg, and they left us. They with no family liaison officer or anybody to turn to at all. There was nobody really talking to us. And we had to sort of chase the police to find out more and more information, which is quite challenging in itself because obviously we want to know what had happened. And we just kept pushing. And even in the day when we were finally allowed to see Greg's body, the police on the day turned up late for that as well. So, yeah, so for a very challenging time, you know, we just felt really let down, and that's why we've moved on to where we are now, which is campaigning.
Yeah. So your understanding, your belief is that he was spiked. When you suggested that to the police, what was their reaction? Because the toxicology report was that he had the equivalent to 5 ecstasy tablets in his blood. No alcohol, but there was an awful lot of ecstasy in there, wasn't there?
Yes. Well, what had happened was the statements they had got, because they had interviewed, I think it was about 74 people in the halls of residence, and they said that he had been drinking and he had taken the tablets himself. So I was going, nah, no, definitely not. He wouldn't do that. You know your child. And obviously when the toxicology report came through and it said that he hadn't been drinking and there was equivalent of 5 ecstasy tablets, then it was a totally different ballgame. And we said, look, we told you, you know, if he had been drinking and he, you know, every child could possibly take one. But they even turned around and said that even people that mess with drugs would never have taken that many. They know that that's the dangerous limit.
So was there an investigation that took place? Was anybody ever charged? Was anybody ever suspected?
No one was ever charged with it. Yes, they did have an investigation, which was quite a long investigation, to be honest. But at the end of it, the police officer that we were dealing with said he'd got it down to 2 suspects, in his opinion, but he didn't have enough evidence to get it over the line. So he could never prove, you know, that it actually happened, and eventually the Procurator Fiscal just dropped the case. I said, that's it, that's as far as we can go, and unless they get any new evidence from anybody, then the case is closed as far as they're concerned.
How have you managed with, I mean, it's a number of years ago now, but how have you managed with that, with the way that the investigation is handled and where you are now with what happened to your son?
The more we've looked into drink spiking and spiking in general, we can understand, you know, go back 7 years, it wasn't known, the knowledge wasn't known as much as it is now because of putting it out there. When we wanted someone to help us, we went to a lot of organisations and no one was interested. They said they couldn't help us in any which way. They didn't deal with anything to do with spiking. So we looked deeply into it and we thought, this is a black hole. No one's dealing, everything around the issue is being covered. You've got your drinks, you've got your rape and all that. But no one was dealing with the main problem, the main source. And obviously, we're victims as well. You know, our family have been victims to it. It's a knock-on effect. You don't want someone else to go through what you went through. I do sit back and wonder how many parents out there have sat back and honestly believed that their child did not take a drugs overdose. But because the police have just said it is, they've left it at that.
Yeah. You've set up a charity, Spike Aware.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
We founded it because, as Mandy said there, we didn't want people going through it.
Yeah.
We looked for something, there was nobody there, so we said, we've got to change this and we want to raise awareness of it and get changes in the law, because the law wasn't substantial enough. So, first of all, we've spent the last 6-7 years advising people how to protect themselves, etc. And also just to give them the confidence to know that there's someone there they could call up, they can talk to. You know, it can be the parents, it can be the victims, but we're there and we understand what they're going through, be it a victim or the parent. It now looks like we're going to have this standalone law. It's going through in England and Wales, and we're moving on to that, which is a good thing. I think it's good for the victims. It's going to give them more confidence to come forward and report. I think it's also good for the police because it's going to give them a clear direction, because the law as it stood went back to 1861.
Oh, wow.
You know, which so we've kind of brought it forward now so that spiking is going to be a standalone offence. We're still campaigning.
You want some changes to it, though, because the law as it stands, you don't feel is quite addressing all the issues.
We found some, well, Colin was reading through it and he found a slight loophole. And the loophole, once it was mentioned when he was in for the witness, a few of the lawyers looked at it and thought, yeah, you're right here, there is a loophole. So there's a wee loophole in it that we need to be filled in, because there's no point of it if that loophole's, you know, if Colin, not a lawyer or a politician, can find it, you know, a lawyer's going to find it easy enough, and that's your way out.
Yeah, and it's to be tougher on the perpetrator.
That's what it is, yeah, because currently there is this loophole where you've got to show intent.
Yes.
And this is the gap, and we have discussions with Joe Robertson MP, and he put forward an amendment last week to try and strengthen up the wording of the bill, which unfortunately was voted down and is now going to go to the House of Lords. So we're not giving up, and between us and other MPs, there was cross-party support for it, and it was only the government who voted it down. So we're wanting to strengthen it up because we want change. We want it to be a standalone offence, and we feel that's the only way forward. Is we need to start seeing people being prosecuted. Because once there's prosecutions, that is going to be the ultimate deterrent. And we have to have this so it's easy for the police, victims and the perpetrators to understand what is going to happen to them if they spike a drink.
It's a really clear message, and you really hope that they hear it as well. Thank you both for coming in. I just wonder, Mandy, you know, my youngest is about to sort of leave school and go to university. There'll be loads of our viewers who are thinking about that, and we often think it's university when they're suddenly independent, looking after yourself. What's your advice to the young people who are about to have a lovely summer as well, or off to university next year, with regards to keeping themselves safe when it comes to this?
Well, what we always say to, because we go into the schools at a very young age, so we're educating at a young age, and we want it educated right the way through the schools into. So it's going to be something they're going to grow up with. That's the way we want it. And you're the only person that can look after yourself, protect yourself, look after your friends, and trust no one. If it tastes funny, ditch it. You know, there is stuff out there, there's covers out there and all that where you can protect yourself. You can put over your drink, because if a glass is left uncovered, that's where they're going to go. Perpetrator's going to go to something that is easy. So, but be aware, look after each other. Something out of the ordinary, you know, talk up, come forward. And we really need the males to come forward as well, because it's not a girl thing. It's not just women and girls. It is right across the board, any age. Our youngest has been 11, our oldest has been 82, and it's done for so many different reasons now.
82.
Wow.
And just finally, I would like to say sort of, if you see it happening, call it out, report it.
Yes.
And if it's one of your friends, to tell them, say, why are you doing that? Make it socially unacceptable. You know, if it's your friend who's going to do it, or someone you just know at college or wherever, call it out there and then and say, if you're going to be like that, you're not part of our group.
It's not fun, it's dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
We're out of time, but thank you both for joining us and coming in. I think it's a really timely message and really clear as well. I really hope you get that amendment to the law, particularly. That feels like it sort of needs to happen, doesn't it? We did speak to the police in Scotland. This is what they said. Every report is taken seriously, with extensive inquiries carried out. Where perpetrators are identified, they are dealt with swiftly and robustly. We would encourage anyone who believes they have had their drink spiked or been assaulted in this way to contact the police in Scotland on 111 or use the emergency number 9 99. Much to your message. If you think you've been spiked, then tell somebody about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you both for
Thank
coming.
you.
Oh, hello.
Thank you,
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
They're the 10 and 11-year-olds who've taken matters into their own hands to improve what's on their school lunch menu.
Yeah, after researching why school dinner uptake was low, organising taste testings to encourage others to try new foods and growing their own veg, they've been nominated for a Jamie Oliver Good School Food Award in recognition of their impressive commitment.
The Asset Arrows, that is a good name, and I need to find out exactly who came up with it. Join us now, alongside Deputy CEO of the Asset Trust, Jackie Bircham. Good morning, everybody.
Morning, everybody.
Morning. Jackie, let's start with you. How did this come about?
So, Asset is 15 schools.
Yes.
Every school elected 2 children who would represent all children, pupil voice. And we bring them all together half-termly, and we ask them to really think about what they want to change, what's important in the world, and what they want to lead. So there's 30 of them all together, and they call themselves the Asset Arrows.
It's a brilliant name. Where did you came up with the name, didn't you? Did it take you very long? Did you have all different names before that?
Yeah, we had a few, but I thought Asset Arrow was really good because it incorporated our logo.
It's a brilliant idea.
And you're moving forward, surging forward, making a difference.
Yes.
Jackie, what didn't always start with food, though? It wasn't initially just food that you were charging the kids with thinking about and talking about, was it?
No, we spent some time thinking about how they feel about the world, what's fair, what's not fair. So we played a game where you go over this side of the room if you think something's fair, you go over that side of the room if it's unfair. So we said, footballers get paid more than firefighters, and they were like, definitely unfair. Children
Depends if you're a footballer, though.
Well, yes, there was a little bit of debate. Not everybody went all on one side, some potential footballers. And things like, you know, there are children who have to pay for education in other countries, definitely unfair. And then we asked the question, adults get to pick what children eat. And they went one way, then they went the other way, and then this wonderful debate started. And really what came out of it was they said, well, you know, we might eat chocolate all the time, we might eat sweets all the time, but it's important that adults make sure that we know what's good for us, that we get a good education around food, that we choose foods that are right for the planet, and adults need to kind of step up and make sure the choices are there and that we know what we're choosing.
Brilliant.
So that was why we did it.
So, Logan, Emma, why did you want to change your school lunches?
I wanted to change my school lunches personally because I thought there wasn't enough variety as such, and I felt that other people were the same, so I thought I'd try and opt in and help them.
That's a great idea. And Emma, were they healthy enough for you, your school lunches?
Yes, they were healthy enough, but sometimes they were a little bit unhealthy, so I thought maybe we can make them a lot more healthy.
Nice. So, Guitars, you guys set about trying to change the menu and come up with new things. What sort of things have you started putting on it?
Well, there's these Nigerian balls, and they, Jack said they look like chicken.
Right, OK.
Yeah.
Nigerian balls that look like chicken?
But what are they made of?
It's like bread or something. I don't know. They're very sweet and like it's like the perfect amount. It's very nice. So yeah, it's like Nigerian puffs or whatever.
Brilliant. So you started trying to find different foods from the different cultures of all the kids that were in the schools and their families and stuff. So what have you enjoyed about that then, Jack? So other than the Nigerian puffs, anything else?
I've enjoyed. What have I enjoyed? That's a lot. I've enjoyed making the foods with people from different cultures because, like, in this country, it's like mainly English people around, and like I just feel like having other people from other countries and like cultures and stuff coming here and cooking with us is just very nice.
Yeah.
It makes you understand everybody better,
sure.
doesn't it? Faith and Elsie, how did you choose what recipes went into the book? Because I'm guessing you've got loads. Did you taste test them all? What did you do? How did you choose it?
So we let our school decide because this is what they want. So we done like a survey sort of thing to see what people like. and then we ask people to make their own recipes that is personal to them and their families, and they think it's healthy and enjoyable to everybody else. So we decided that, and then people just gave us their ideas and recipes, and we put them in a cookbook.
Lovely. Elsie, what recipe did you come up with, or can you remember?
I came up with some cheese scones.
Nice. Who likes the cheese scones? Yeah.
Yes, favourite.
What is a cheese scone?
It's a cheesy scone, Jack. It's not compared to a Nigerian puff, but trust me, cheese scone. You've got to try some of Elsie's cheese scones. They're sensational.
Jack, have you been growing vegetables as well at your school?
I mean, I can't really remember vegetables,
Right.
but I remember...
When you say you can't remember vegetables...
I can't... We have been, like, growing stuff.
Oh, nice, OK.
What have you been growing?
I kind of forgot, but I think we've grown a few potatoes and stuff like that.
That's
and
good.
Just basic stuff and, like, weeding and stuff.
Do you enjoy that part of it?
Love it.
Getting stuck in, getting your hands dirty?
It's so fun.
Yeah. For sure. And Lila and Jada, I know that you guys chose the name, or Lila, you chose the name, but you've been doing some blind tasting as well, as we were talking about. What sort of things have you been blind tasting, and what sort of difference does that make to some of the other kids, just in terms of whether they want to try stuff or not?
So we're gonna add like some new food things on our school menu. But before we do that, we're gonna do the blindfold tasting. So we're gonna have all the year groups from our school, except for year 6. So we're gonna give them 3 different types of foods, so they can try it before they can have what's on the menu.
Right, it's not like a bush tucker drill that Ant and Dec would make you eat, though, is it? This is nice tasting stuff.
It's a bit like that. Oh,
Is it?
no grubs.
And Olivia and Esther, you cook community meals as well. Do parents get to try the food too?
They don't actually, but we do. We make it at schools,
right?
So that the children can try too.
Oh, excellent! And what's been the favourite at your school?
Lasagna.
Lasagna. What about you, Olivia? Have you got a favourite that you've discovered?
Probably the like the cheesy bean wrap.
Cheesy bean wrap. There's some amazing things. So obviously, you guys know you got nominated, Jack. What did it feel like when you found out that Jamie Oliver had nominated you for this award?
Felt all right, I guess.
Yeah?
It felt good.
Yeah.
I guess so.
Well, you guys have been working really, really hard.
You have. And actually, the exciting news doesn't stop there. We've got some more exciting news to share with you.
So obviously, you got nominated for this year's Good School Food Leader category for Jamie Oliver's Good School Food Awards. Well, we can announce that you haven't just been nominated, you've won. Congratulations.
You guys. Well done.
Here we go. There's Good School Food Leader Award.
Oh, my God.
Yes, here you go. This is your award.
That's for you.
Would you like to hold it, Jack?
And that's not all. Our friends at Merlin have kindly provided you all of you, including all the members of the Asset Arrows who can't be with us today,
in total.
entry to a Merlin attraction of your choice. So you get to go to a theme park and have a super-duper fun day out.
How does that sound?
Good?
So good.
Yeah.
So good?
Yeah.
Yeah? Oh, my God. Do you like roller coasters?
Yeah.
OK, well, buckle up.
Do you like roller coasters more than Nigerian puff puffs? No, it's a hard choice.
Hard choice. Well, thank you for coming on the show today. Congratulations, you guys.
Yes.
You're winners.
You're doing an amazing job,
You
Jackie.
are.
Thank you for bringing them all in as well, and the parents and all the assistants as well. There you go. You're going to all fight over who's going to take the trophy home.
Take the spoon home.
But it's been lovely to see you all. Thank you all for coming in.
Thank you.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
8-year-old Toby was born in a rare condition, leaving him with the use of just one arm. But despite being fitted with a prosthetic, he felt like it was holding him back.
Yeah, determined to enjoy his hobbies to the full, the Lego mad lad set his heart on a more functional arm with a unique design. And he's here alongside his mum, Deborah, and Carl. Welcome to the show.
Everyone.
Thank you for coming in.
Good to see you guys.
Now, Deborah, tell us about finding out about that your baby when it was inside you.
I was 20 weeks pregnant, the first scan with him, and they told us it was horrible.
Unbelievable. So what happened then? What was the condition?
It's called Brachydactyly, and it's just basically the molecules and what have you that make up his arm just didn't grow. They didn't.
So did you know instantly something was wrong? Because the nurse walked out of the room, didn't she?
She walked out of the room, left us for about 15 minutes, just going, "What's happening with our baby?" And they came back in, took us off to a separate room, and then when they came in, they weren't very nice with how they dealt with us. Offered us a termination initially.
Oh my goodness!
It's incredible how quickly you must become an expert in something that 15 minutes ago you knew nothing about, right? You just you go down that deep dive.
Thank heavens for Google.
Right, exactly. And then you see quite quickly, I say, see light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, it's a condition, but you can live with it.
Yeah, and he's just done amazing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We were put in touch with various charities and that offered us support and guidance, and met other children that had similar limb differences to Toby, so we were able to learn from them.
And you've got 2 daughters already. I think one's 26 and one's 28 at the moment.
Yeah, Alex and Chloe, yeah.
So you knew you wanted to bring Toby up in exactly the same way?
Yes.
No different, is it?
Yeah, he had to learn his own way of doing things, so we've never held him back. Anything he's wanted to have a go at, off you go, boy, you crack on.
And Toby, you obviously don't remember anything about this, but so have you always been just very active and fearless and just going for it?
Give anything a go, won't you, mate?
What's your favourite sport to do, Toby? What do you love doing?
Yeah.
Bit of football. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, Toby, tell us a little bit about your arm, because you brought your other arms here when you were, was that one when you were a baby?
That one was.
That one there's the Blams when you were a baby.
This one.
Yeah. And then this other one with the Union Jacks on it. But was that one you weren't that comfortable with that one? Was it a bit sore? OK. So tell us about the moment that you saw...
And that one was actually heavy as well.
Yeah, that one's heavy.
Yeah. When I first had it, but now it's not.
That's OK. Well, you're a big boy now, that's why.
Yeah.
So tell us about that time you saw a man in the supermarket. Was that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was actually in Tesco's.
Yeah. In Tesco's. they'll be happy about that. And what happened? What was he up to, that guy? What was he... Did he just have a robotic arm?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what did you say to your mummy and daddy then? Like,
He said, Dad, I want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want one of them.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
So what happened after that? I mean, how did this brilliant Lego arm come about?
Well...
Do you want to tell them about when we went down to Portsmouth?
Mum, you've done enough.
You've done enough. So he's been visiting the Limb Enablement Centre in Portsmouth since he was 6 months old, and they've always been let Toby be fully involved with coming up with what he wants, what he needs, what he wants to use his arms for.
So nice.
Showed him a book with this design in it, and that was it. Second he saw it, didn't look any further.
We got quarter of the way through, and it was like, I want that one.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So did you know Lego was going to have Lego on it to start with?
No.
Ah, amazing.
No, and Toby didn't know until the day it was finished.
No.
And we picked it up. Dan, who built it, said to Carl, he said, what do you think if I actually incorporate some Lego into it? And he was like, oh, my God, yes. Like, we're going to keep it as a surprise. It's going to be a secret. So Toby had no clue.
That's amazing. So Toby, what was that feeling like when you saw your arm for the very first time?
Amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
And can you show us how you use your arm with the Lego? Can you stick some of the Lego on?
Can you grab some?
It's literally like the actual board that you can actually stick it on.
That's what he's done.
That's your arm?
He's put it down so that it actually fits in there.
Look at it. Look, it sticks on. That's so good. I absolutely love it. When did you realise, Deborah, that he was so resilient and he was just one of those kids who would do anything and get involved in anything?
From day one, nothing had stopped. Even from the first time he held a bottle, he was using his little arm, and we just knew straight away that he's going to be fine. The amount of heart attacks this child's given me, though.
Really?
We'd go to the park.
That is so cool.
And you've got another piece in the top as well, haven't you?
He's got an extra bit.
Brilliant.
And Carl, what have you noticed day to day? What is the difference by having this arm?
So he's able to do a lot more. He's only had it for the last 3 weeks. He's had it a month, but the first week he managed to break it. As all kids
Already?
So I sort of...
Mum!
No.
No, it was Dad. I was at work
He
that
come
day.
out of school literally absolutely sobbing, Dad, I've broke it. And, like, the head teacher's come running over, Mrs Carter, by the way.
Hello, Mrs Carter.
Carter.
And he's like, what's happened? What's he done? I was like, no, he's fine. He's just broken it. I said, but I'll get my toolkit out when I get home and I'll fix it.
Brilliant.
So I managed to fix that. And then we had to take it back because the harness is like a nylon material. So when he's hot and sweaty and he's moving, it started to break the skin.
Yeah.
So we took it back, and on the same day we took it back, they had it all fixed, redone, and we was home with it within a couple of hours.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Oh,
And
love
so
It's amazing what they can accomplish, isn't it?
So good.
But your resilience and your bravery and, you know, and your whole family, what a team.
What a team. I heard there's a guitar coming out soon. Are you going to be learning how to play the guitar?
He's going to be starting lessons at school.
He's going to be a rock star next, isn't he?
What happens next? Because,
Don't forget Mum and
because
Dad.
you are going to... you are going to grow out of that arm sometime, young man. So is the next stage the fully robotic arm?
Well, that would be nice. They have said that if Toby is using this one, finding the benefit from that, then his occupational therapist is going to start doing tests and seeing what he's going to be able to.
Oh, my
But
goodness.
that's definitely the aim. So hopefully within the next sort of year or so, we might be able to...
Yeah.
So the
have one
youngest,
for
the
him.
youngest at the moment, we've been
actually
told
10.
is 10.
10 at the moment.
Yeah.
So
I think
he's
she was on the show, wasn't she?
I think so.
she came on the show with us.
And so he's hoping to be the next one at 9.
Brilliant.
That's your aim, isn't it?
Yeah,
That's what
you'd be
he's
the
aiming
youngest
It
one.
does, however, have to incorporate Lego, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent.
Well, listen, we've been in touch with the kind people at Legoland Windsor, and they've offered you, your mum and your dad a lovely trip with a hotel. It's in here, so you can go to Legoland. You're going to stay overnight.
How cool
It's
is
going to be incredible. And not only that,
They're
we've
good.
also got a little goodie bag for you as well. It's got a few Lego bits in.
Drop that. And it's like, drop that.
And they've given you that for free.
There you go.
Would you
For
say?
free.
Would you say? Would you say?
What do you say to Legoland?
Say
Thank you.
wow.
Oh,
Pleasure.
so much. Thank
So
you.
lovely
you're more
talking
than
to you.
welcome. Thank you for coming on and showing us how you use your
Thanks,
arm.
Toby. You're a proper inspiration, all of you.
Maybe you could come on and play the guitar.
Yes.
You know what? You're really good. You can come and show us what you've got.
You have to learn the This Morning theme tune.
And if you want, I'll sing with you.
Whoa, whoa.
That's a hit
Let's
record
not be
there.
too hasty about that, too.
Thank you for coming on. Thank you
you
so
for
much.
having
And
us.
hopefully that's
Thank you so much for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every single day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now, you may think it's a disease you no longer need to worry about, but last week, a grandmother from South Yorkshire tragically lost her life after she was unknowingly infected with rabies whilst on holiday in Morocco.
Yvonne Ford from Barnsley received just a small scratch from a stray puppy while she was on holiday back in February, but only became ill 2 weeks ago, at which point the infection was too severe to treat.
Now her family are speaking out in the hope of preventing this from happening to others. In a statement, Yvonne's daughter said, "Our family is still processing this unimaginable loss. We never thought something like this could happen to someone we love. Please take animal bites seriously. Vaccinate your pets and educate those around you."
Well, look, we're joined by Dr. Zoe to discuss this. It's always extraordinary, this, Zoe, because rabies isn't here in the UK and it always feels so far away.
Yeah.
And then you suddenly hear the tragic case of Yvonne. It's
Yeah.
really shocking.
Yeah, and I think a lot of us go on holiday to places like Morocco, Tunisia, Turkey, where these are countries that are considered high risk for rabies. And, you know, a case like this, it's a reminder to all of us, isn't it, that rabies hasn't gone away, whilst it has here and in Western Europe. And when we're travelling further afield, we need to take precautions where necessary, and we need to know what to do if we do come into contact with an animal.
So can you just tell us a little bit about what rabies is?
Yeah, so it's a viral infection that infects the central nervous system, so that's the brain and the spinal cord. And it's got a long incubation period. So like we just said, you know, typically from being bitten or scratched or even licked, if you've got a wound, your skin is broken and you're licked, so it travels in the saliva, or even actually licking mucous membranes, so your mouth, your eyes, it can be transmitted from an animal. Typically, it takes 2 to 3 months before symptoms start, but it can take up to a year. And once symptoms start, it really is untreatable. So, you know, it's in 99.9% of cases, once it actually reaches your central nervous system and symptoms start,
It's too late.
Yeah.
it's too late. So it's really important that people are aware that if they are in a country, you know, before you go on holiday, check which countries you're at risk of rabies. For people who are going to be in those countries for a prolonged period of time, if you're going to be working with animals, you know, if you're going to be going running, cycling, where you're at increased risk of coming into contact with an animal, then it is worth considering getting what we call pre-prophylaxis, so getting a series of rabies vaccinations before you go, which you can pay privately for. But the main thing, even if you have had that, or if you haven't, if you are scratched by an animal, bitten by an animal in one of these countries, then you must seek immediate
attention. Wash it with soap and water straight away, wash the wound and seek immediate attention. Even if you're flying home the next day, you must seek immediate attention in the country where you are and start a course of what we call post-exposure prophylaxis. So that's a series of injections. If you do that treatment, you're almost definitely going to be okay, but you can't wait to see if symptoms develop. You've got to assume the worst and get treated.
And is that even if it's a minor scratch, anything even minor?
Yeah, anything that breaks the skin, which means that saliva can get into the body, then you have to take action. And I think, you know, we can all imagine if it's a little puppy and the animal might not... An animal can be infected with rabies and not showing any signs, or sometimes in the early stages of their infection, they might even be more affectionate. They feel a bit off and, you know, they can be domestic animals or they can be strays. So I think any animal in any of these countries, even the slightest bit of scratch, if the skin is broken or if they've licked a mucous membrane, you've just got to take it seriously.
And are there 2 different types of rabies as well?
Yes, there are. So about 80% of cases are what's termed furious rabies. So this is kind of, I think, the stereotypical, what most of us will think of with rabies, where once the infection is set into the nervous system, people can have hallucinations, be very sort of overactive, sort of excitable, and people may have heard of it, they become this fear of water.
Yes, we were talking about it.
Hydrophobia. And that's because, if we think about how this disease transmits through the saliva. So people, you know, it's really, towards the end of the illness, it is a really devastating illness. People can lose the ability to swallow. So that's what, but, you know, that's what the virus wants, because that means you produce more saliva and the saliva's not going down, the saliva's coming out. So viruses want to multiply and spread. So that's why, you know, the virus wants that to happen to the body. So therefore people can become phobic of water and even air, because eventually it affects the respiratory system and the heart. So, you know, gusts of wind or that can be very distressing for people as well. So that's 80% of cases. The other 20% is called paralytic rabies, and that's where this paralysis sets in, usually from the site of the bite, and spreads very slowly, and people eventually just, you know, become paralysed and
then they're
go
both
into a coma
deadly,
and die. They're both deadly.
It's got an extraordinary mortality rate if it's left untreated.
99.9%. So there's these very, very rare cases, usually in clinical studies, where they're trying, you know, people are put into an induced coma and they're injecting things straight into the spinal cord to treat it. But, yeah, once symptoms set in, once it reaches, so the site of the bite, so we was talking about how it can have this prolonged incubation period. What determines that partly is the severity of the bite, the amount of virus, you know, how much virus actually gets in, but also the location of the bite. So if you're bitten on the foot, it's likely to take longer to get to the brain than if you're bitten on the hand, for example. So, yes, it's once it's set in, once it's actually reached the brain, you can no longer treat it, and 99.9% of people will
I've got
die.
just a vague recollection of a sort of a drama in the 80s, which was about rabies, that I watched on television, and the animals, sort of like you said, they're very docile, but then they get very aggressive as well. And I can't remember what the drama was, or whether it was even a public information advert that was out there because rabies was still here. Let's talk about the reality here in the UK. The 2 cases, I think the previous case to Yvonne's was back in 2018.
2018, yeah.
And that was somebody who'd been in...
Somebody who'd been in Morocco. And I think that was a bite. It was a man. And I believe that actually this same animal had bitten him and bitten a child. The child received the post-exposure prophylaxis treatment and the man didn't. And he, again, several months later, came back to the UK, thought he was fine, and several months later developed symptoms.
So it's one of the reasons we have such stringent quarantine rules for animals coming into the UK, isn't it? As frustrating as that might be for pet owners.
Yeah, so we've been rabies-free in the UK now since 1922. People may be aware of bats carrying a rabies-like virus. I think it's not actually rabies, but it's very similar. So with the exception of some bats, all animals now in the UK, rabies doesn't exist. And, you know, this is, I think the sad thing is, there are about 60,000 deaths globally, predominantly in Asia, Africa. About 50% of cases are children as well.
Right.
But this is 100% preventable disease with vaccinations of both animals and people and post-exposure. If everybody received treatment, then the deaths are preventable. And in order to eliminate rabies in a particular area, if 70% or more of dogs are vaccinated, then that pretty much wipes out rabies and prevents people from dying for it. So the World Health Organization have this initiative called 0 by 30, where they're aiming for, in certain rural areas, to have wiped out rabies by 2030. I think they've been set back by the pandemic, but that's what they're aiming for. So it's about vaccination, because it is 100% preventable.
Yeah. So, Dr. Zoe, if we've got viewers sitting at home watching and they know that they're travelling to countries where rabies is prevalent over the summer, what would be your advice, and would you recommend getting vaccinated?
So I think, first of all, there's a website called Travel Health Pro, where you can find out the country that you're going to, whether it's low risk, moderate risk, high risk. If you are going somewhere that's high risk and you're going to be running, cycling, dealing with animals, it's worth getting the vaccination. It's 3 vaccinations that you need several weeks before you travel, so you should start looking into all of this.
Does it make you
about
feel
8
poorly
weeks
or
before you
anything?
go? No, well, you know, like most vaccinations, you can have a mild symptoms, soreness at the site, a bit of a mild fever. For other people who don't, you know, if you're going to Morocco for a week, like typical, or Tunisia or Turkey, most people don't actually get vaccinations before they go. But just be aware of animals, stay clear of animals, even if they're pets, just stay clear. And if you have any interaction, a bite, a scratch, or even a lick, just seek advice locally and take the advice that you're given. Don't wait till you come home. I've heard of people thinking, you know, wait till you come home. The sooner the better. But even if you're hearing this and you think, oh, I was bitten a month ago, go and seek help now. It's never too late, but the sooner the better.
Great stuff. Zoe, thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning.
Now then, it's been 8 years since 72 people tragically lost their lives in the devastating Grenfell Tower fire.
On Saturday, thousands gathered in West London to mark the anniversary as survivors and bereaved relatives continue their fight for justice.
In the early hours of the 14th of June 2017, a fire tore through Grenfell Tower, a 24-storey block of flats in West London, with hundreds of residents still inside.
The smoke was extremely thick, black. Every time I opened the door and tried to breathe, it was just a gagging sensation.
Fueled by the highly flammable cladding on the building's exterior, the blaze killed 72 people, including 18 children.
There's an internal Arconic email where they say the grade of the panel following the test today is an F, which is just uncategorizable, ungradable, and then just the word oops. They learned that once you bent this product into a certain shape, you were going to get this terrible result in a fire.
An official inquiry painted a damning picture of missed warnings, cost-cutting, and a building system riddled with failures. Yet despite the evidence, no one has ever been convicted for the failings that led to the fire. And 8 years on, the survivors and families of the bereaved are still fighting for justice. Well, we're joined now by survivor Marcio Gomez, who tragically lost his unborn son Logan as a result of the fire. And he's alongside journalist Peter Apps, who has written over 1,000 articles on the tragedy. Thank you both for joining us this morning. Marcio, can you explain, you lived at Grenfell Tower for how long?
I was a baby to the tower, so I was there for 10 years. 10
years, so it was home. Just tell us a little bit about Grenfell Tower and what it was like living there.
It was a beautiful place. It had its own micro-community, if you like, because you get to meet a lot of... I had young kids at the time, and you get to meet a lot of the parents going to school, waiting for the lifts, and you have fantastic conversation. And it was just its own little micro-community. Everybody knew each other, everybody played in the corridor. Our doors were generally always open for the kids to run in and out.
We've just passed, on Saturday, the anniversary of a day that nobody ever wanted to go through, but of course we don't want to forget. I wonder what that was like for you.
The anniversary?
Yeah.
It was very emotional, especially this year because of Angela Rayner's decision to bring down the tower. So it was the last time we're going to see the tower as how it is at the moment. So it was a very emotional time for us.
Can you tell us a little bit about the day when it actually happened? And you were quite high up on the tower, weren't you? When did you realise there was something wrong?
Yeah, so I lived on the 21st floor with my family. It was just a normal day. It was really hot. The day was really hot. We decided to go out for dinner as a family with a group of friends. Because it was a school night, went home a little bit earlier, put the kids to sleep. And then I was up for a little bit later. And I think I just went to bed just after midnight that day. And then I was woken at 1:15 in the morning with my neighbour banging on our door, which I'm forever grateful, because if it wasn't for that, we would have been sleeping. So that's generally how we woke up that morning.
So then you stayed in your flat, and the fire brigade were all told that the stay put rule, which is essentially you stay there for 2 hours. The fire had started much lower down from a fridge or freezer. And you're in your flat and you start getting towels and wetting them, because you're thinking to yourself, just in case, you've got 2 daughters, you had a pregnant wife at the time. When did you realise that it was actually really dangerous and you needed to start moving against the advice of the firefighters?
Probably about an hour into it, I would say.
Right.
When I really understood how bad it was.
Yeah.
You know, we've had fires in the tower before.
Yeah.
It's not generally a problem. You know, it's contained. And then sometimes even in the morning, going, oh, we had a fire last night. And that's that kind of level it was. Of course, that night, it was very different. So when I first opened the door to my neighbour, the lights were on, couldn't really see much going on. Thought, OK, normal fire, phoned the 999, and it was, you know, stay put, you're going to be safe there, that kind of thing, which is fine, and that's the advice we kind of went with. Probably about an hour into it, when I tried to go into my neighbour's house, I opened the door the first time, and it was pitch black. The lights were on, but it was pitch
smoke,
black.
right, too?
It was really thick.
Like that thick, dirty black smoke that kind of feels as though you're choking.
It was awful. It was something I've never experienced before.
Yeah.
I think there's a clip where I opened the door, and I did that shortly after, because nobody was going to believe me if I said to them it was pitch black.
You filmed it, didn't you?
I did film it, yeah. And as soon as you breathe that in, you were just gagging. It was a horrific smell. I mean, it was something I can never really describe that well. And that was when I knew this is really bad.
I think you phoned the fire brigade 5 times before finally they said, right, you need to leave.
Well, I think it was the fourth time when they said, oh, we've changed our protocol policy. But even at that point, I explained, look, I've got a 7-month, a pregnant wife at 7 months pregnant. My 2 kids, one asthmatic as well, and I've got my neighbour and her child with me. You know, we need some help here. Although they said, yes, the stay put policy has been revoked, we're still sending somebody up to come and get you, and that's kind of what I was waiting for.
And in the end, you decided you couldn't wait any longer. You needed to get out. What was that like, Marcio, for you and the family, trying to get from the 21st floor of a tower that was then fully ablaze and getting through the smoke?
Couldn't see anything.
And what was going on around you?
Well, initially, we tried twice before and failed for different reasons. First, it was my neighbour couldn't go through it because the first time they opened the door and saw the pitch black and the smoke, you know, and it's quite difficult going into the unknown. The second time, it was my wife at the time who panicked as well, and quite rightly.
Yeah.
Being 7 months pregnant, she knew that there was going to be problems. And then when we were forced to leave was the third attempt of the 5th 999 call, where it just so happens I was on the call with the London Fire Brigade, and as I looked into my bedroom, the fire came through our window, and it set the curtains, the Moses basket, basically my room alight, and I only had time to really just close the door. And at that point I said, we've got to go, it's now or never. We couldn't stay in the flat anymore.
And there was so much confusion as well at that time. You couldn't see anything. The girls you were supposed to be behind the girls and you were taking them down, and then you kind of lost them within the smoke. When you finally get to the bottom of the tower, you see each other again, you get taken in an ambulance, but your wife, who is 7 months pregnant and asthmatic too, right? They have to make a terrible decision at that point.
Yeah. At the hospital, they came to me and said, they came to me and said they had to make that decision.
Yeah.
And because my wife's obviously alive, they had to go with her.
They had to make a terrible choice.
Which I said, yes, that's the choice.
It's heartbreaking to hear what you've been through, you and all those other families. Peter, the most painful thing about all of it is it was preventable.
Yeah, I mean, it was something that should never have happened. I think it wasn't just preventable, it was something that I think some of the companies and people involved in this story knew was going to happen because they were allowing a product onto the market that had this very obvious and very serious risk attached to it, and they were allowing that to be installed on the homes of people like Marcio and his family.
Why were they allowing that to happen?
So the material that was used to clad Grenfell Tower is something called aluminium composite material. So it's two thin sheets of aluminium held together with a plastic called polyethylene. And polyethylene is chemically very similar to petrol. So you're talking about, it's not combustible on the outside, but in the middle, you're effectively putting petrol cans on the walls of people's homes. It looks quite sleek, it looks metallic, but it's plastic and it burns very ferociously. The thing about that product, though, is it's quite cheap. We use it to make road signs and that sort of thing, and it's a cheap product, which means that subcontractors can keep their profit margins high by buying the cheapest material possible and keeping a profit margin up. And so that's why it's favoured, not just on Grenfell Tower, but on hundreds of other tower blocks around the UK and thousands around the world, because it looks nice, it looks expensive, but it's cheap.
But also, Peter, not by that much. Like, I think they were trying to save £40 a flat or something like that. Isn't it something? It's a ridiculous amount of money.
There's a more fire retardant version of the cladding, which where the polyethylene is diluted with non-combustible.
Yeah.
And that's what is actually supposed to be used on higher risk buildings. That would have cost £2 to £3 per square metre more.
It's just...
and so over the whole job, I think that's sort of about £5,000 to £7,000. This is a £10 million job. So you're talking about a fractional expense being saved.
Yeah. When I watched the documentary as well, I also felt so much sympathy as well towards the firefighters who weren't given enough information and they were going into this burning building, but they didn't really fully understand what was going on. And then they were telling everybody to stay put.
Yeah, I mean, you have to say that on the part of the institution of the London Fire Brigade, there was a huge failure.
Yeah.
And they've acknowledged this now
Yeah.
in the years before the Grenfell Tower fire, because there was awareness in the industry that this was a risk, but there was also awareness within the Fire Brigade that there were cladding materials being used in London that were going to undermine this stay put strategy. We'd had a fire in 2009 that killed 6 people, again, all of whom were told to stay put, and who could have survived if they weren't. And the Fire Brigade and the government should have addressed that and said, well, OK, a fire might get out of control again. Let's work out how to get everyone out safely.
Yeah.
You know, it's a difficult thing to do, but it's possible. Yeah. But that question was just never asked.
The London Fire Brigade Commission, Andy Rose, says on the night of the fire, the brigade faced the most formidable challenge that any fire service in the UK has confronted in living memory. In 2019, the brigade accepted every recommendation from the Grenfell Tower Inquiry Phase 1 report and have since implemented significant changes to how we operate. So it feels like they have, clearly they have reacted to this. This is what Arconic said. Our thoughts remain with all those affected, their families and friends. Arconic Architectural Products, along with others, has made financial contributions to settlements for those impacted. We support all efforts to strengthen regulatory oversight in the construction industry. No one has been held responsible, I say, for what happened, for the loss of life, for you losing your unborn child. What do you think needs to happen?
I think they need to be held accountable. I think you've seen from the documentary and the inquiry, they knew what they were doing.
Yeah.
They knew the products was unsafe, but yet they put profit ahead of people's safety. You've seen from the emails where I think the one you just showed was oops at the end of it. I think there was another email as well which said, if a fire was to occur, potentially it could be 60 or 70 people could die. And in this occasion, it was 72.
Yeah.
So they knew exactly what they were doing.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, they need to face the consequences.
Peter, where are we with the cladding on Grenfell? Because I know that there was big moves in terms of taking that cladding down off a number of buildings around the UK. has that happened to most of the tower blocks that have it on?
So the specific type of cladding that was on Grenfell, the ACMPE stuff, a lot of that has been taken off, yeah. So not all of it, but a lot of it. But there's thousands and thousands of other buildings, anything up to 10,000, we don't even know how many, which have other types of combustible materials, some of which are less dangerous, some of which are almost as dangerous as what was on Grenfell. And globally, you know, Arconic are not just a UK company, they're multinational. They've sold this all over the world. You know, we had a fire in Dubai just last weekend where it was exactly the same material. And, you know, I think one of the things to dwell on is the organisation that knows where this was sold. The organisation knows where it was sold all over the world is Arconic. And the other suppliers of these materials, they haven't been held to account. Not, you know, you mentioned there that they've made a financial contribution. It is tiny compared to the levels of profits that they've made since the fire. And I really think that's where accountability needs to focus.
Yeah. Marcio, they've said that they've got to demolish the tower because it's not safe.
Yeah.
What would you like to see there? What would you like to see done?
Well, I don't agree with that.
You don't?
I don't agree with Angela's decision.
Yeah.
On a number of points. One being that she didn't consult the bereaved, the survivors.
Yeah.
Although she claims she had, but she hasn't, because we've spoken together and nobody had any input into that decision. Yeah. And we have to also remember that it's not just a tower. We're not just talking about a tower. I mean, I was fortunate enough that my son was born in the hospital and I was able to bury him whole. But my neighbours didn't make it out. They were cremated in the tower. The tower is a tombstone as well. So we have to be very sensitive to that situation. Now, I'm not naive. I understand that there's cost involved, which is generally what they look at. The tower is fine structurally. It's not going to fall down. Nobody's in danger. But they can do something different rather than just knocking it all the way down. And in my mind, it's almost like get it outside and then out of mind. And it will just help them move forward. But for us, we'll never move forward. I live it 365 days a year. So it needs to be a beacon of change, and hopefully it will be a catalyst of change.
Well, as Kat and I were saying, we pass it every day. It's
Every
such
single
a
day.
sort of iconic building, and you see the cladding on the side now, and it's always there for all of us as a
You
reminder.
don't forget, yeah.
No,
No.
we won't forget. The government have said, the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government said, we will deliver the change needed so this can never happen again by taking decisive action to speed up remediation through the Remediation Acceleration Plan and delivering the recommendations of the Grenfell Tower inquiry. I'd imagine you and the other residents just want to be a part of the decision now. Angela Rayner has announced that it has to come down, of what happens next with the site.
Yeah, there's a memorial commission, which is underway at the moment, has been for a number of years. And then that will hopefully dictate what, through the bereaved and the survivors, what will happen in the future in terms of a memorial site.
Yeah.
Including the community. Sure. You know, we're all in it together, really. But for me, one of the main things is the height. And whatever memorial is in there, there has to be a height, and you need to be able to see it. As you mentioned, you know, you see it when you drive into work, and everybody sees it from all sorts of angles. So
that's a really important point. Thank you both for joining us today, and thank you for sharing that. It's not easy, Marcio. Both Marcio and Peter have contributed to the new Netflix documentary Grenfell Uncovered, which you can watch from Friday.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. It's World Continence Week this week, and currently 1.5 million children in the UK are living with a bowel or bladder condition.
Yes, so Dancing on Ice star Molly Pearce has teamed up with 8-year-old Katie Thurling, both of whom live with stoma bags, to help break the stigma and encourage others to speak out. The pair join us now alongside Katie's mum Kelly to share their stories. Good morning to all of you.
Hello. What glamorous couch this
Very,
is.
very glamorous couch. Lovely to see you, Molly. Katie, thank you for coming in. It's really lovely to see you on an important day like today. Can you tell us a little bit about your stoma bag? I think it's got a name, hasn't it?
Yeah.
What's it called? Diamond. Why is it called Diamond?
Well, Diamond is the girl's best friend, and I just honestly love diamonds, and I've just named it Diamond because it's like a diamond to me, because it helps me, and people call someone a diamond if they're really helpful, and this was really helpful to me.
Yeah, I think my wife might use that as a reason for me to get more diamonds. They're really helpful.
She's got a big birthday coming up. You better do good.
That's amazing. I love it. So tell us a little bit about life before you had Diamond? What was it like?
It was really bad because I couldn't really be in school and I had to be in hospital a lot more because I was born with a thing that would make me really poorly, and I just missed out on a lot of learning, and I thought that my friends would have someone else to play with and grow out of playing with me.
But you were also very brave, because if anybody has to have an operation at all, I would be, and I know you would be. You'd be scared. Did you feel scared before you had it?
No, I was like very calm and all right, because the doctors were very nice and they were very gentle with what they were doing. They knew what to do, and they were stripped careful and gentle and did it all right.
They did do it all right. How does it feel having the bag?
Well, I don't really feel anything at all. It just feels like nothing's there.
Yeah.
No, but you are a bit of a superstar in your class, though, aren't you? Because I've heard that you did a PowerPoint I wouldn't even know how to do that. A PowerPoint presentation of, like, 10 different... What did you do? You told them all about it, right?
Yeah, I explained every detail of a stoma and how it helps people who's been poorly and who has one now. And I was happy that they asked me questions, because whenever people ask me questions, it makes me feel happy because they want to learn, and a lot of my friends wanted to learn and ask me a lot of questions.
It's brilliant that you're so happy to share, because it changes everything. And I know that you've used your voice and your experience to help other people as well, because the importance of having bathrooms for people like you that have stomas, and public bathrooms that are set up as well. What have you been able to do?
So I've recorded some videos and say, hi guys, today I'm going to be reviewing these toilets, and been reviewing them. And every disabled toilet I've been showing if they had a hook shelf or mirror, and that's what a stoma-friendly toilet needs.
A hook, shelf and a mirror.
Yeah. And when it has them, you get to know, like, everything that you need, and you get to, like, put stuff, like, you wouldn't put baby stuff on the floor, so why else should you put stoma stuff on the floor?
When she explains it like that, it's simple.
Makes perfect sense.
Perfect sense. So hold on, how did you meet Molly? Like, how did this girl action happen?
So basically, ever since I started watching Traitors, she was on it then, and ever since then, I started sending lots of good luck videos and hoping she'd do really good. And then soon she got on Dancing on Ice.
Yeah, that's when we connected.
I started always sending pictures of, videos of a song. And I would put my own song of what they did. Like, sometimes I'd send pictures and sometimes I'd send songs of my...
So every week, me and Colin would get either a photo or a video with support from Katie, and it was so nice. We used to, like, run to each other's dressing rooms, be like, it's posted, it's up. And you decorated your bag, didn't you? Decorated Diamond, so it was really lovely.
But Molly, that must be amazing for you as well. That must be a really amazing feeling to know.
It is
that
lovely.
You're connecting.
It's so lovely, but at Katie's age, I would not have had half the confidence she did. So I think it's incredible that you're spreading so much awareness, and especially in schools, because you're not only educating the children, you're also educating teachers as well, because a lot of them are unaware of the impact it might have or the facilities you might need. So you're doing really incredible things. So thank you from me as well.
And tell us about Eric, because you've teamed up together with this charity to try and help bring awareness to what you both have to deal with, and lots of other people as well.
Yeah, so they support families, well, children and families with bowel and bladder conditions, and I think we sometimes forget the impact it can have on the families as well. Like, I know it was really difficult for my parents. It's hard to see your child so unwell, and it's not always possible to get in touch with the NHS or to contact a nurse for advice. So having Eric's been so helpful. I know to you, they've...
Definitely.
Do you feel the same, Kelly?
100%. You know, general practitioners are fabulous, but they don't have as much knowledge as your bowel and colorectal specialists. And, you know, as much as you have wonderful stoma nurses out there, they're not 24/7. And Eric, even though they're not 24/7, you know you can drop them an email at any point as well, and their support is invaluable.
Do you identify what Molly was saying? She was saying it was difficult for her parents to see her being ill, and you must have experienced that for Katie.
100%, and it's that you'll always have a mum guilt. You know, am I going to be resented later for potentially having scars on her little body? Is she going to be thankful? But it's the best thing we've done. you know, you're a new child, aren't you?
Yeah.
Happy, healthy and love life.
But she's had some comments in public as well, though, hasn't she, that haven't necessarily been... I mean, I'm sure she's dealt with them like only she would, but what sort of things has she faced if you've been in public?
People being disapproving of the fact she has her bag out on show. We've had children at a shopping centre asking their mum, oh, what's that girl got a bag on her tummy? And the response, it's disgusting, you don't need to know about things like that. To which Katie replied, what is disgusting is my life before this bag, thank you, and walked off.
Good for you.
But she does see, now it's more, rather than seeing it as ignorance, you see it as an opportunity to educate people, don't you? And that's how she is. It's all about educating people. You know, she loves watching football at Ellen Road, and she will be straight in.
You're Leeds fan?
She is.
Oh, wow, hold on. Next season.
You were getting on before, weren't you?
But she'll be straight in talking to the team there about, you know, thank you for sorting your bathrooms out, and it's her first part of call.
And it's not just the practicality of life, it's also enjoying life and thriving. Yeah. Like, you can swim, you can trampoline, you can do all these amazing things.
Yeah, and Kate is a lover of music, concerts, you know, the child, her first concert
You can't sing that.
4-year-old. First concert at 4-year-old was madness.
I love really?
Yeah, she will fly through concerts now, and it's that case of the more things she can attend, the better, isn't it?
What do you love doing, Katie?
I love sending videos on how to be supportive with stomachs and everything that can help people who has a stomach, and say that it's not embarrassing to show your stomach for people who are very embarrassed to show it.
Yeah, we tell people, everyone goes to the toilet, we just do it a little bit differently. So why should we feel ashamed of that, eh?
You shouldn't.
The more you can talk to people, the better.
And you should, I mean, the importance of educating people means that you're here with us today.
Yes.
Where should you be today, Katie?
I should have been in a school trip at Edenton, but...
What's Edenton?
It's a place where you can go canoeing and... paddleboarding too, and... You can also do, like, lots of activities there, like climbing up mountains.
It sounds amazing.
Is it called Leeds Kayaking and Activities Sailing Activity Centre?
It's just Edenton. I'm not sure what else Edenton.
Well, maybe we could sort out Edenton to reach out and get you to come back on another day, because we've loved having you come in and be so amazing today alongside Molly and your mum as well. It would be amazing if they could reach out, I think.
Well, we have just found out that they have. And so you can go for a day and have a fun day out with everybody and just go and enjoy it. So you've been here, you've educated everybody, you've had a chat to us, met him, got your autograph.
For the teacher.
Who was it? Who was your teacher?
Mrs. Stringer.
Mrs. Stringer.
Mrs.
Stringer, you're
Incoming Mrs.
sorted.
Stringer. Sounds like she's got great taste.
And you can go kayaking too. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you. Thanks,
Thank
Molly.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
You're amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Jamie Lee Arrow joins us now. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
We have to watch some really difficult things, don't we, when we're doing this show? And I have to say, this is the most difficult thing I have ever watched because of the cruelty that was involved from your father to you during your childhood. I found it really, really distressing when you were just a little girl. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So when I grew up, I had my dad and my mum, and at my dad's house, it was like stepping into a horror movie. And my dad was very unpredictable. He could go from being the kindest, funniest, most charming dad to being this monster.
He had a fascination of the devil, didn't he? He was completely obsessed. How did that manifest itself, Jamie Lee? How did he express that fascination around you as a little girl?
So he often spoke about the devil and demons and such, and he always had these paintings and stuff all over the flat. And he was an artist himself, so he liked to draw the devil and demons and really scary pictures. And he always wanted me to believe that he wanted me to turn against God and instead worship the devil from a very young age.
And right from that early age, your mum and dad were split up. You lived with your mum, but you would go and see your dad too. But he'd make you watch horror movies. He'd tell you that faces were coming out of the wall. He taught you about voodoo dolls. It was really really traumatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we could lay on the bed and in the darkness, and he would go like, "Could you see those faces all around us on the wall and the ceiling?" And I was very bullied when I was a child, and his solution to that was to give me a voodoo doll to use on my bullies. So that darkness was just so normal to me. It was my everyday life.
It's really interesting. So his girlfriend, Hella Christensen, came into your life. And I think you were really taken with her. When they first got together, it was a really lovely relationship and you were really drawn to her. She was a really lovely person. But it quite quickly turned, didn't it? How did that relationship deteriorate?
So when they first met, they were really nice to each other and I really liked her. I thought she was so beautiful and she was so funny. And she was not like the other girls he had introduced me to before. So I really started loving her, like, immediately. But they did meet at a mental institution, so they both had their problems. Right. And so that relationship turned very toxic very quickly. And they were not good for each other at all.
Your father eventually murdered her. How did you find out what had happened and that he was responsible?
So my mum actually sat me down after a long day of her being very sad and upset. And it was a very long process before she even told me. But when she sat me down, first I didn't want to hear it. I went like, "No, don't tell me, Mum, I don't want to know," because I realised it was going to be something really awful and I wanted to protect myself. But then she went, like, ripping off a Band-Aid. She went, "Helle is dead." And my first reaction to that was it Dad? And she went, "Yeah."
But you didn't fully understand the full brutality of the murder at that point. How old were you at that point when you first found out?
So I read the word cannibal on the newspapers, like, a few months after that. But I didn't know what cannibal meant.
Because you were about 9 years old?
Yeah. So I went and Googled it. But
so your mum protected you from the most gruesome details?
Yeah, she will not tell me that. I
No.
didn't go to school, I didn't go to shops, I didn't watch TV. Everything changed because she wanted...
To protect you?
Yeah.
But then you saw a newspaper with your father's picture and the word cannibal.
Yeah. So when I saw that, like, I froze. I didn't know what to do. Then I Googled the word cannibal, but it still didn't make sense to me. It was very hard, difficult words describing the word cannibal. But my mum went to me, "Please, Jamie, don't try to find out anything more because we are doing this to protect you. You don't want to find this out." So I actually didn't quite find out the whole story until my dad told me himself.
Yeah. Also, the reaction of other people. You must have been ostracised by friends and schoolmates and other people who knew the full story as well.
Yeah, so when I went back to school, like, all of my friends were acting differently towards me and everyone was asking about the murder, about my dad. People were scared of me and my dad. So it really felt like I had been robbed of my identity after the murder.
Yeah.
Interestingly, in the documentary, you talk about the fact that you remained connected to your father and you sort of went and spent a lot of time with him through your teenage years, which were very troubled years for you as well. You were drinking a lot, you were taking a lot of drugs, and yet he was the only person that wasn't judging you. And he sort of, and that relationship, you probably got closer during that time with the trauma that you were dealing with. Do you think he was drawing on that to get you close to him?
Yeah, so he knew that my mum wasn't agreeing with my drug addiction and...
Which, as a mother yourself now, you can understand,
I understand, right? Yes, definitely. Now I see everything from a whole new perspective. So my dad became the one I turned to because he was the only one that was accepting of my lifestyle. He wasn't judging me and was treating me the same way. So it was only natural for me to become closer to him.
Because he also wasn't in a prison. He was in a psychiatric ward.
Yeah.
So you could then go and visit him, and then you actually became closer and closer again for a short period of time.
Yeah. So I didn't see him for 2 years after the murder.
Yeah.
But then I was tricked into seeing him again. And when I first saw him, he was so normal, and he didn't even mention the murder. And when I started seeing him on my own, he slowly started brainwashing me into becoming like him. And he made himself my entire universe, basically.
You eventually, within that period, suddenly your relationship broke down because there was a moment when he became quite violent and aggressive towards you.
Yeah.
And it was scary. And so in the period when in the documentary, it's 4 years since you've seen him, he actually agrees to sit down with you and be interviewed regarding the murder and what he did to Helle Christensen. What was that like for you, Jamie Lee, sitting down in front of your father and him talking so calmly about the brutality of what he'd committed?
So, because of the circumstances, it was a very special situation to be in, with all of the cameras, and it was not the way I had imagined it to be when I sat down to talk to him. But it's hard, you know. I would always love my dad. I don't love what he did, but it's hard to sit there and watch someone so evil and try to talking to me and try not to feel the love for them and trying to remind myself that this person is not good for me. This person is not. I can't have him in my life. So it was very sad for me to sit there and talk to him and to watch him being that unwell.
I think that's one of the things that comes across from the documentary is just how manipulative he was of you from a very young age. You've now got a boy and a little girl of your own.
Yeah.
Will you see him again, do you think? And would you allow them to see him?
Never. In a million years. I can't control what they do when they are grown, but as long as they are under my care, I will never, ever let them see him. I will never introduce that darkness to them.
It's an extraordinary thing, Jamie Lee, to hear you say, and it speaks to the power of a child's love for their parents, that you still love your father. You don't love what he did, but you still love your father, despite, as Kat described, the manipulation and the cruelty that he inflicted on you as a child, despite the graphic brutality of what he did, what that meant for your life, what you went through in your teenage years, that you still have that love there for the idea of who he was.
I believe it's pretty much impossible to stop loving your parents. And I know that now. He can do whatever in the world and I will keep loving him, but that doesn't mean he can be a part of my life, and that doesn't mean I agree anything that he's doing.
No.
And it's sad, and it's like I'm grieving on a live person because he might as well be dead.
I think it's indicative of the importance when you're a parent, if you have children, of just how powerful that bond is, and it needs to be nurtured and respected and loved, because that enduring love is extraordinary. We did reach out to your father for comment, but he hasn't responded. Jamie Lee, thank you for sitting down and talking to us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is a remarkable documentary. It's not easy to watch, but
no, it really isn't.
Your calmness and your eloquence is just phenomenal within it. You can watch Evil Lives Here. The Killer Speaks on Discovery Plus. Right? Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning. And our next guest, Sir Ed Davey, the leader of the Liberal Democrats, is often spotted campaigning across the country, paddleboarding, falling in, bungee jumping, and, of course, more importantly, getting a makeover on this very show.
He looks so debonair.
Very debonair.
Very debonair.
Got the same shoes. Still got the shoes on. Still got his shoes on.
Excellent. But behind the politics is a very personal story. Ed has spent most of his life as a carer, first for his mum, then for his grandmother, and now for his 17-year-old son, John.
And he's not doing it alone, of course. His wife, Emily, who lives with multiple sclerosis, is right by his side. And as Ed releases a brand new book, this book here, Why I Care and Why Care Matters, the couple join us on the sofa. Thank you both for coming in and joining us this morning. It's lovely to meet you. We often meet your husband, but it's always nice to meet the power behind the brains, as it were. It's an extraordinary book, Ed, and a lovely sort of tribute to your relationship with your son, John. Will you tell us a little bit about John and what his journey's been like?
Yeah, he is undiagnosed. We don't know actually what's wrong with him, but it's a neurological problem. It's in his brain. So he doesn't have as much white matter as you and I. Something called the cerebellum at the back of his brain is smaller. And what that means is he finds walking really difficult and moving generally quite difficult. He finds communication, speaking very difficult.
It's affected his muscles and his balance. So we at first thought it was cerebral palsy. And so it's similar. When you look at it, you think, oh, he's got cerebral palsy, but he doesn't have it.
And because it's undiagnosed, you're on this sort of journey, both with the people in the health service and other carers. And but we just accepted it, you know. He's our wonderful boy, and we've tried to make him or help him become as independent as possible, strong as possible.
Yes.
So he does tricycling and what other things?
Well, he loves riding his tricycle. He goes rock climbing, which is wonderful.
Sailing, he loves.
Sailing, yes, tying up the ropes. I don't know how much of the actual catching the wind he does, but yes, he does that. He loves swimming.
Swimming it.
Yeah,
So like his dad, he's got an adventurous spirit.
Oh, he's an adrenaline junkie. He is. You know, if it's wet, the wetter the better for him, and the splashier the better.
Amazing.
I think what the book also really draws attention to is the need for carers and actually how they are the unsung heroes of our country. So often there are people who are caring for people that you don't even know, and they're actually the people who keep the country going, both emotionally and economically.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the book, there are stories of 4 other carers because I wanted to tell the stories of others because I think there's 6-7 million people, they reckon, out there looking after loved ones. Many of your viewers will be looking after relatives, and that's what it's about.
Yes, I mean, we're not different from anybody else. It's a very ordinary story in many ways of being a carer. But part of the issue about being a carer is it's physically and emotionally exhausting. So by the end of the day, you just collapse into bed. You're not going to, when people send out forms from the council asking you about you're too tired to fill in the forms. So you never hear that carer's voice because they're just simply too tired caring. And there are so many people, and often I think about older people who are looking after older spouses, and they've got their own health problems, and they've got to look after their spouse. And so we're in no way different from them. In many ways,
well, we're quite lucky.
We're a lot better.
We're lucky.
Yes, we're very fortunate.
And you know, because I'm in politics, I want to make sure that I can be the voice of many carers out there. Who are exhausted and who have forgotten. And the point you made, Kat, that we actually rely on carers.
Really?
So if family carers said, well, I'm not looking after my loved one, the social care, the NHS would collapse, literally collapse.
Yeah.
So one of my views is if we can support family carers just a little bit more, that would help so many of the problems that we have.
And you are a leader of a major political party in this country. How do you do that? How do you find the resources, the infrastructure to do that? Because we can see how complicated it is for anybody that's in power to manage budgets.
You mean for the national solutions or for our own family?
Well, national solutions, I'd say first, because I understand that everybody has individual demands as well.
Exactly. I mean, nationally, we just want to keep talking about it because if you look over the years, politicians and governments have kicked the can down the road. They've not faced up to it. They've not known what the solutions are. But we've actually had 25 reviews, commissions, inquiries, reports since 1997 about what we need to do, but no one's actually done it. So, and the current government's set up another commission, but not to report for 3 years and not to implement any recommendations it may have for another 10 years. So that's just, again, delaying.
Down the road.
And so I want to, whether it's writing the book or coming on this morning or whatever it may be, try to make sure it's in the political discussion and not forgotten about, as it so often is.
I think it's so important as well to reach all the different generations as well, because your mum was very poorly. She had cancer. You were looking after her. At what age? You were a teenager, weren't you?
Yeah, well, my dad had died when I was 4.
Yeah.
Mum became terminally ill when I was about 12 and became progressively worse, and then she died when I was 15.
Yeah.
So my brothers and I, with my nan and granddad, we were the carers for my mum.
And there's a whole generation of young people as well doing this great job too.
Oh, there are, well, nearly 1 million young carers, we reckon?
Yes. Yes. They don't see themselves as carers at all.
No.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't even know the term young carer when I was a kid looking after my mum. But they miss out on education, on lots of life opportunities. And if we can support them, I think we can just be better as a country. And these 2 wonderful young carers have written in the book. And, you know, sometimes caring can be really tough. So there's a wonderful woman called Hannah who writes about how she looked after her mum when she was just an infant, really, in primary school. And her mum was abusive to her.
Oh.
So
lonely as well. I
so
think.
isolated.
Yeah.
And that's why I always think I've been lucky, because, you know, I knew my mum and dad loved me, even though they left us early, and I was in a loving family. We're a loving family with our son. But there are many people who either don't have that family support, or they don't have, you know, we're lucky financially, you know, we know we can put food on the table. But often you find people who are caring after loved ones, they're really struggling.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think you've both been very honest as well, Emily, about the future for John and how you set him up, because that would be for any parent who has a child who needs a lot of care. The sort of the fear and the worry is what happens down the line for him. And that's unfortunately, that's the reality of it, isn't it?
It is. And I suppose part of the issue about being a carer is that a lot of your time is spent on just dealing with the immediate, and you aren't great at looking to the future and just managing week by week. But you can have hopes and dreams, and you can put down all sorts of, you know, I'm a solicitor profession, but I could have trusts and everything, all sorts of ideas like that. But really, unless we have a caring community, nothing is going to work, because you can't force people to love people. You can't force people to care. But what you can do is create a community that cares, that people actually acknowledge carers and see the importance of carers, and enable people, allow people to get on with caring. So when he's older, he's living on his own, there is that support and that acknowledgement that the people they're caring for are important, and the people who are doing the caring are important. That's the only solution I can see. But
Do you know, it's such a pertinent point as well, though. And as you've done, Ed, with the book, and you alongside him, and the Party Political broadcast that really cut through where we saw you with John and your family life, is doing exactly that. Thank you for popping in today and sharing your thoughts.
Incredible team.
Ed's book, Why I Care and Why Care Matters, is out now. It's lovely to see you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. They're the former anti-corruption police officers who in 2015 left their jobs to spend more time with their families.
But Emma Coles and Sam Hutchison quickly found that they missed the adrenaline rush of their former jobs.
And after setting up their own detective agency to catch out cheating partners 5 years ago, the spy mums are in high demand, and they join us now. Good morning.
Good morning.
So, spy mums, you didn't really like that title first of all, but now you kind of like it, right?
We've come to love it. Yes.
Okay.
We were on the show before, and
a couple of years back.
we advertised in the paper as well. And the title was Spy Mums. And at the time, we were like, oh, it's a little bit cringy, because obviously we run a professional company, and it kind of made it into a little bit of a joke. So we weren't keen at first, but we have come to love it now.
We've embraced it. Yeah, you deliver the results. I mean,
yeah.
And it's true. Yeah, it's not frivolous. So how did you set up the agency?
So we both did many, many years in the police and we worked in covert roles. So we really loved the undercover stuff, sneaking around, following people, spying on people in the police. We ended in the anti-corruption intelligence unit. So we were basically investigating secretly corrupt police officers. And because we weren't well known to anybody in the police, we became really, really close. There were only a few of us in the office. So we became really good friends then, both got pregnant at the same time, had our babies within a few months of each other. And then they started going to school and we were kind of thinking, oh,
that is
what
awful,
do we do
that
now?
stage of being like, not knowing what to do anymore, like, you know, and not having that adrenaline rush that we'd been used to for so many years. And we thought, well, how can we home our skills in? All the stuff we've learned, all the covert tactics, everything we'd learned over the years, and our dealings with the members of the public, and thought, you know, we can do a good job here. And
So
it was developed.
So, Sam, you started off sort of setting up the agency and then offering... What sort of services do you offer and how much would it cost to have you guys investigate somebody or something for a client?
Well, we do a range of services. Obviously we deal with infidelity on quite a large scale. We also deal with catfishing, a lot of fraud cases and scamming. I mean, we've got one particular one at the moment, which is really quite scary, because we used to say to people, like, know who you're talking to, you know, and they've entered into a relationship and they've invested emotionally. And we used to say, well, have a video chat with the person so at least you know you can see a face at the end of the call and you know you're talking to a real human being and not somebody else. But this has progressed now and we're dealing with a client now who has had that video call with the person, but it's not a person, it's a bot. And it's AI
So
has been
AI
used.
is now making things even harder.
And he's had a conversation and believed that conversation with that person. That person has stolen the identity of somebody else completely who had no knowledge of this and has been talking to him now as a bot, effectively, in that AI world, and it's so scary.
So you realise how vulnerable lots of older people are, or people that sort of, you know, are looking for a sort of company, whatever that might be. But in order to do that, what would I have to pay if I had somebody that I wanted you to go and investigate?
Well, our prices range, don't they, Em?
Yeah, so for surveillance, for instance, if you suspected that your partner was cheating, it could be anything from, say, £250 for a really simple case. We've had some clients paying like £20,000, depending on the level of information they need and the resources that we need to actually find out the information. I mean, it might be that somebody only cheats once a month. And obviously, if we're going to follow them, it might take a month to actually catch them. Or they might do it on the first day.
We prepare a bespoke package for every individual, and every individual is so different. And every case that we get presented with is so different. So you can't give like just a general price because it varies so much, like Emma said.
And it's not just relationships that you investigate either. There's lots of other different cases, right?
Yeah, we've found more recently that people aren't getting the service they deserve from the police. And if people have got the money to pay for it privately, they're coming to us because they've had no luck having their case solved. So they come to us and we basically do the job of the police.
It's like high-value motor cars. We've had high net worth clients who've had really high-value motor cars stolen, and we are the ones that go and find them because, with all due respect to the police, they don't have the resources. Burglaries, they come to us. We gather the CCTV. We gather all the evidence that the police haven't got time to do, and then we package it all up and we can take it along to the authorities as a complete package.
Now, you have celebrity clients, you've had some royal clients as well. I know you can't talk about individual cases, but are they sort of looking at you to investigate similar sorts of things?
Similar, yeah. High-profile people have kind of a different level of information that they need and protection as well. So we've had cases where we've had to look after an individual by doing surveillance on somebody who's suspected of being a stalker, for instance, so that we can protect them.
A lot of that is really scary. If you're somebody who has a stalker and you see that person, That's really frightening, and we can really help people with that by drawing a line, a boundary, and making sure, for example, the person stalking them doesn't cross that boundary, and that they can carry on with their life to a degree in safety.
Yeah.
And how undercover do you have to go? Do you have to kind of change outfits and wear disguises and...
So in the early days, we did a lot of the surveillance ourselves.
Right.
Obviously, now we're on TV and we're showing our faces, so we can't do that. We have some really good operatives who work for us. But yeah, in the early days, it was quite interesting, actually. Sam had a really good job where she was a different person throughout the whole day.
7 outfit changes.
No, that's more than even I did.
In the car, in the toilet, in the train. It was, it was quite a day. But I made my appearance change that many times in the day, not to be noticed following somebody. But like Emma says, you know, we're the face of the business now.
Yes.
We're trying to bring a more softer approach. I mean, our clients, you say, look at how our clientele have changed over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
We have a lot of male and female clients, but a lot of males come to us now because although there's other investigation agencies out there that are guys and they run perfectly well and they're great guys, but they sometimes feel easier opening up to a woman. Just to have those chats, they find it really difficult to open up to a man like that.
Yeah, and we have people on the phone in tears to us, and I don't think they would do that if a man was answering the phone.
Definitely
it's just
not
different.
Italy.
One of the things we're quite excited about, though, is that there's going to be a TV drama of some sort based around what it is that the two of you have done.
Yeah, that's really exciting. So a few years ago, we were contacted by a big film production company because they'd seen what we're doing. So, yeah, that's all in progress at the moment. We're sitting down with the writers and that's all being made. It's going to be a fictional drama.
So the question is, who'd play you?
What do you think?
I really want... I was going to say Hannah Waddington, but actually Kat Delia, I think, would be...
She don't come cheek, you know. She don't come cheek.
So, Kat, for you...
I'd have Michelle Keegan.
Michelle Keegan.
And
Michelle and Kat would be great, wouldn't they?
Put me in a contract.
Also, Ben, talking about AI, and there's a lot of AI, I saw you in Men's Health magazine.
Yes.
Yeah, we think there's a bit of AI going on there.
That was Model's Own. That's all. And I'd be very happy for you to investigate as well, Sam.
We'll see you after.
Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Glad everything's going so well, and I'm sure we'll have you back when the drama's on as well.
Definitely.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out, and we'll see you in the morning. Now, when you think of TikTok, you probably picture viral dances, funny filters, influencers with millions of followers.
But the social media platform is also home to one of the biggest online marketplaces in the world.
And whether it's beauty products or children's toys, business is booming on the TikTok shop.
Crazy Orange laces releases now in our TikTok shop.
Guys, I'm just going to show you how to use our new Wig Remedy detangling spray.
Guys, all your happy hoppers now in stock.
We've just launched the best collection ever.
The wig looks pretty much new again.
Some people got to have it. If you're not fast, you're last.
Stop using your girlfriend's shave butters. I've developed one just for you.
Look what I've got, glitter and glow nice cubes.
I cannot stress enough how easy this wig will be.
Doing a slide. So much fun.
And today we're meeting 3 women whose lives have been changed by the TikTok shop.
Yeah, Laura Mallows now makes £250,000 a month after she launched her beauty products on the platform.
Dominic Bogle was able to quit her 9-to-5 when she started selling wigs online.
And Jane Hastings, bouncing around on a space hopper, has transformed the success of a toy shop since joining TikTok. Welcome to all of you. Thank you for being here.
Ladies, I take my hat off to you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely brilliant. Laura, let's start with you. When did you first start selling on TikTok and what made you do it?
I started selling on TikTok about 4 years ago. I actually had a baby and 3 weeks into my maternity leave had my accountant ring me and say, you're going to lose your business if you don't go back to work. So.
And your business was a beauty shop?
It was shave butters, body scrubs, body butters. And I had a phone call from someone at TikTok Shop and they're like, you can make an extra 10 grand a month if you go live selling. And at that point I was like, well, I have no other option. Cool, I'll do it. So by day, I was emailing and trying to reach out to retailers and my baby girl strapped to me. And then by night, I was live shopping and on my...
So just explain, just in case anybody isn't across the world of digital and social media, when you say going live, what do you mean?
So I literally was in my warehouse with my phone in front of me and, you know, all my products behind me and I was packing the orders.
And it's as simple as pressing live button on the phone.
Literally as
and anybody who's on TikTok that follows you or maybe even pops up anyway can then join that.
They join the live,
that broadcast.
And that's the best thing about TikTok. The algorithm doesn't just show your followers, it shows the whole of TikTok. So, you know, I was up against the likes of these massive businesses with the same kind of platform and power because anyone could see me. And I was in my warehouse till 10 o'clock at night making so much money and I actually got myself out of the hole and saved my business through TikTok live shopping and built this fantastic community as well. People joined every night to talk to me and, you know, I could directly talk to people about their products and my products and how they were going to help them and you just pin a product and people can buy it and it's easy peasy really and it's like a direct connection to your customer.
What's that moment like, though, when you suddenly realise that not only is it working, but it's working to this extent?
I mean, yeah, I did a mega live in July and we made 200,000 in one day.
In one day?
I mean, I had a massive screen in front of me and TikTok flew people over and there was a room of like 10 people. And I was just watching that revenue figure go up and up and up. And I was standing there with, and it's incredible. It's an amazing feeling.
I expect you get quite a rush out of it, actually.
I think, yeah, it is a rush. It's also, you know, that I'll tell you what the best moment for me was.
Yeah.
So on that live, we had like competitions, like every competition every hour. And I FaceTimed my community, everyone who won, to say, OK, you've won like a Gucci bag or an iPhone. And every single person I rung had a Mallows Beauty makeup bag or a Mallows Beauty eye mask on and they were showing me their collection and I was like, how rewarding, incredible is that?
And that's the products that you created initially.
Yeah,
it's just
and
exciting.
they already had them in their room and then they won and so, yeah, I think that's the best thing about TikTok. It's definitely superpowered my brand, for sure.
And Dominique, when I look at you're so clever and you're so patient and what you do is an art. But your company basically formed from you having alopecia,
Absolutely, yeah, that's correct, yeah. So when I was 21, I was studying, doing my degree at uni, I actually started to get alopecia and hair loss and I didn't know why it was or what happened. And I thought, oh, gosh, there's got to be other women like me going through the same thing, right? Yeah. So I started to sort of research manufacturers, you know, in the UK and abroad to see if I could bring a product that was really good quality but also long-lasting as well. Because our wigs aren't human hair, but they very much look and feel like human hair, like you would never know.
No.
And what we tried to do is really help, you know, other women who are going through hair loss or even just want to change their hairstyles, have a really quick, easy solution to be able to do that. So I started TikTok around 2.5 years ago, still working in corporate, still working full time.
Did you work at HSBC?
I did. I worked in completely different. Completely different. Corporate 9 to 5, and then sort of 8 to 9 was my TikTok shop going live, and I started in my kitchen. I started in my kitchen on the evenings, yeah.
And where are you now?
I've got my own office space now. We've just signed a new lease for a new warehouse, so we're growing and we're expanding, all because of TikTok Shop.
Does your mum work for you?
My mum works there as well, yeah. Yeah, my mum also,
cute.
she's left the job, yeah.
You talk money as well, because you had a good job. You worked for a big city
absolutely.
bank.
So, yeah, I was, you know, in terms of money, you know, I was definitely on a very, very good salary. Within starting TikTok, I was able to leave my full-time job within 8 months. And, you know, every month we do at least 60, 70K a month on TikTok Shop.
Wow.
And actually the service you're providing is incredible as well for the women.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Let's talk to Jane down the end there. Jane, so your toys, toys is your thing. Have you always been passionate about toys?
Yeah, I think it's from when I was little. There was a little shop at the end of our road and I used to love looking in the window. It was called the Broadway stores and I used to love looking in it and I think that's where it comes from, but yeah. We specialise in brand new release products that the kids are going to be asking for and what's being advertised on the telly. Anything that's brand new to the market, we'll have. Yeah. And it's all top quality, top of the range, all the best brands, and we specialise in that, so...
So what happened is you, first of all, had a unit, like a bricks and mortar store, And then that wasn't doing so well. So then you started doing TikTok.
And it went mad.
And it
went mad. It took over my life. So about last June, 2024's Global Toy of the Year landed. I went live with that, and that's when it really kicked off. It was interactive FX Stitch. And that's when it just went... My head fell off and went, what's going on here?
But Jane, I mean, you know, what was your experience of TikTok up till then? Were you a...
I was just a watcher since COVID, so I used to sit there. I was
scroll
all day,
How did you feel when suddenly you're going live and you're doing the sales and the mega sales like the girls?
It's straight. Well, I was terrified because of my accent. I was like, I can't do them lives. As no one's... Because it's very strong, isn't it? But so I got someone in to do it, but that didn't work. So in the end, I went... I'll do it myself. So I just pressed go. I had no idea what I was doing. Pressed go, went live, and hey presto, I'm sitting here with you two lovelies today.
But I think that's the key to all of your success stories, is how authentic all of these things are. Like,
thank you so much.
You know, you love and now the toys. The TikTok feeds the toy shop as well, essentially, and makes that even more popular.
But we'll have to keep the shop. Like, we will have to move because we have outgrown it and we're struggling. But we can't forget all our regulars who've kept us going for all years.
Including some of the Liverpool team as well.
Oh, they love us. They're my mates.
Who have you had in?
Well, Nunes, he's my mate. I can't ask for selfies no more with him. he always comes in, so does Diaz. They all come in because they all live around the corner from our shop, so I give them privacy. We don't harass them. We just lock the door and lead them to it. But we were just about to go live the other week. Next thing, car pulls up. It was Nunes and his full fambo. Must have all come over, and we had the studio set up. And I looked in, and they took the phones off. They had all their own phones on, and they were all posing in the studio.
I love it. Amazing. You imagine these footballers going into Prada, going into Ralph Lauren. They're in your toy shop having an amazing time.
Ladies, you're brilliant. You're moguls, and I love the amount of success that you've had. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much for having us. Thank
Ben,
you.
don't forget to pop us a follow.
All right.
We'll do it.
I'm not au fait too much with TikTok, but I'm on it.
We'll get on it.
I just brought out men's shave butter as well. So
Oh, OK, men's shave butter.
They don't have to trick these lot, do they?
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.
Shocking CCTV footage has captured the moment that Bridgerton actress Genevieve Chenna had her phone stolen before she bravely fought back against the thief.
Yeah, sadly, it's a case that's becoming all too common. Nearly 1 in 3 people in the UK have had their mobiles stolen, with the number of phone thefts doubling in the last 5 years alone.
Genevieve is here now to share the terrifying incident alongside former Chief Superintendent Palm Santu. Good morning, ladies.
Morning.
Good morning. Hi, nice to see you. When you look at the footage, it's almost unbelievable, Genevieve.
I know. When I first saw it, it was shocking because I don't even remember my reaction, and I thought it was way longer than it actually was. That moment before anything happened, I thought it was about 20 seconds. It was milliseconds.
Split seconds,
Yeah.
and you decided to make that decision. Do you remember anything about what happened just before he tried to take your phone?
Yeah, you know what? I had a bit of a sixth sense that something wasn't quite right. You know, as a woman, you have that kind of intuition, and I could feel people moving around me in a different way, but I only became aware of it once the incident had happened and in hindsight. But I did feel they were going back and forth trying to find a target, so they chose me.
So they'd been scoping out the various customers in the coffee shop for a while, working out who they could attack. I mean, it's amazing watching it happen because you react so quickly. It's clearly instinct takes over. What do you make of the fact that that was your instinct, just to try and grab him and then to force him and to get your phone back?
I mean, I don't know if I would advise anybody else to do it. I think I have very quick reactions thanks to having 3 brothers growing up. And I'm an ABA carded boxer. So I think it just was an instinct. Also do a lot of fight training for work in acting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what came over me. I thought that was a normal reaction, and then I read all the comments and realised actually a lot of people would just let them take the phone.
Yeah.
Well, we see a small snapshot. There's somebody else that helps you who's in the coffee shop as well. But you were saying, actually, the incident went on for a lot longer than that.
Yeah.
And you end up on the floor, holding him down on the floor.
Yeah, it was about 5 minutes, I think, I've been told, and it kind of went round the corner and it turned into like a full-on scrap with 2 people and...
Because he had someone with him as well?
Yeah, and I was, you know, threatened with being stabbed. So it became a real matter of, in my mind, life and death. So I did things like, I remember kicking him back with my leg to create space in case he had a weapon on him. Yeah, it was just a life-changing, crazy moment.
And when you say whether he had a weapon on him, he has done this before. And actually, there's footage of him with a machete.
I know. Have you seen the picture?
Yes. So he'd done this before, hadn't he?
Yeah, to Aled.
Yeah, Aled Jones.
Aled Jones, who I've been in touch with, yeah.
And what had happened to Aled?
I mean, we just both agreed that it was like an awful thing, but I mean, I can't speak for him.
I mean, he
but
stole
he took
Alec's
his
watch, didn't he?
Yeah,
He took his watch.
Yeah,
And then I think
threatened him.
he ended up in youth detention centre
Yeah.
after he attacked Aled back in 2023.
Mhm.
So he has form for doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly you managed to fight back and you are safe and you're OK physically, but how did it affect you emotionally and mentally, Genevieve?
I mean, it opened up so many conversations with people that I know and don't know, and I've been really made aware of how many people are living with that anxiety, men that have had their phones stolen and women. So I can only talk from a woman's perspective, but I do know that men are dealing with that same level of anxiety. But
Because that happened to you afterwards. You didn't want to go outside, did you?
yeah, I didn't want to go outside. I mean, and as a woman, we're already, I think, have our wits about us around strangers and random men. So to have this happen to me while dealing with that probably base level that a lot of women have just made me quite agoraphobic. Yeah, leaving the house was really hard.
And now when you think back with hindsight, would you do the same thing again? Or would you think twice about it? Because as you said before, you just don't know. Does he have a knife? Does he have some form of weapon?
Exactly. And I mean, that he looks, I mean, like maybe 20. I thought he was kind of an idiot, you know, harmless. But after seeing the picture with him with a machete, I realised, like, wow, there is not one look for someone that's dangerous. It can be anybody, and anybody that's willing to do that might be willing to take it further, so...
I mean, Genevieve's at pains to say, look, she wouldn't recommend someone else does this. It was instinct that took over. And fortunately, she's been trained in a way that she understands that making a bit of distance and she has some sort of combat experience. But it is on the rise, and we are all susceptible to exactly what happened in that shop, aren't we?
Genevieve was very brave, and I commend her for that, but I would not recommend that anybody fights back. It just isn't worth it. Yeah. And where you covered the areas around the stress and the anxiety afterwards, it affects everybody. And one of the things that I came across in my own experience was that when a man is mugged or has their phone stolen, they're less likely to ask for help because they're supposed to be roughy-tufty and they're supposed to be able to cope with it. But you do get that that fear of coming out of the house, and especially with men, they won't admit that they need help, and quite often they get isolated. They have the lack of help, and they are in their homes, and they can't actually say this is as a result of what happened to me. But unfortunately, mobile phone theft is on the increase. There's been around 150% increase for Home Office figures just over the last year. And over the last year, there was 100,000 mobile phones stolen. 78,000 of them were in London. And so when you talk about going about your business, you're not necessarily walking in a dangerous area or in an area where you feel insecure. You are sitting there, you're relaxing, you're having a coffee, or you're out with friends, or you're using your mobile phone. You don't expect it to happen to you. But unfortunately, as you say, it's happening to more and more people, and we all need to not take responsibility, but we need to protect ourselves and make sure that we are not the next target. But please, the one thing I would say is don't fight back, because you are worth more than your mobile phone. The injuries that you could end up with, and Genevieve mentioned the fact that you don't know what these people are carrying. They could have a knife, they could have a syringe, they could have any other weapon that they can use on you. And if you are the person who's standing between them and their freedom, they are going to kick, punch, use anything that's around them to try and escape and evade that capture. So please just give them your phone, and then there are steps you can take after your phone is gone to protect your data, because this isn't just about the mobile phone. This is about having access to your personal data, to your mobile phone apps that activate your bank accounts, your identity details. There are things that you can do.
Yeah, the phone's a gateway to so many other things.
Yeah. So first of all, tell us how we protect ourselves from not having our phone stolen. Then give us the advice for if it is.
OK. When you're using your mobile phone, try and use it so that you can see around you, so that nobody can come up behind you on a bike or run past you and grab your phone. One of the things that I found is where you can get your mobile phones with the covers, with the little straps on, really effective. Really, really effective, because if you've got a strap around your wrist as well, it's harder for them to snatch it and run. Always be aware that these people don't work alone. They generally have another person. And if that person is getting into trouble with you, the second person is likely to step in, which is why I say give them the phone. So be careful where you use it. If you can use headphones or buds or something, that is a safe way, because then your phone's in your pocket. They're less likely to go for you. If and when your phone has been taken or lost, contact you. All of us have got an IMEI number, which is like a serial number on your phone. If you don't know how to find it, you can look on the internet. For an iPhone, basically, it's under your settings, under general, and you can find your IMEI number. Because a lot of people will say, well, what's that? And where do I find it? Write it down, put it in your house, and just keep it there. If your phone is taken, report it straight away to your service provider. And if you can get onto a laptop and you've got Find My Phone, you can deactivate your phone. You can erase your personal data straight away. But do let your provider know. Contact your bank straight away and say, my phone's been stolen and I had phone access for my mobile data, mobile banking. So there are steps you can take to protect your bank account, your personal data, and also get that phone locked there and then. If you have insurance, let your insurance company know. And one of the things that I would say, report it to the police. A lot of people will say, well, what's the point? I'm never going to get my phone back. And it is unlikely that you're going to get your phone back. But if you report it, that area will then become a hotspot. People will know that that's where the mobile phone theft is prevalent, and resources from police can be allocated to that area. And they may be undercover, they may be in plain clothes, you may not even know that people are there, but it will create a reaction from the local police.
So it does have an impact.
Yes, it does.
Statistics.
How are you doing now, Genevieve?
How am I doing now? I've actually taken a bit of a break from London, and I'm just kind of I've been here for 7 years, working, auditioning, acting, just to kind of have a bit of a reset, because it really did affect my confidence. Yeah, going out the first time I went out afterwards, I remember standing in a queue and just my hands were sweating, and I was so vigilant and aware of my surroundings. So, yeah, just kind of trying to feel calmer.
Yeah.
And
take a minute.
Yeah, which I think is quite hard to do in our industry.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for coming on the show this morning,
Yeah,
and thank you for talking about it. Thanks, Dr.
Oh, hello. Thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. We upload tons of new content every single day. So hit the subscribe button, like all the videos, and don't miss out. We'll see you in the morning.